was on 74. Even when the AC's on 68 in my house sometimes and I'm doing stuff, I'm like, oh,
morning.
Good morning. Excuse me, do you have Wi-Fi here?
I was just getting ready to do that myself. Look right there.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't see that.
girl, don't
Thank
worry
you so
about it.
much.
Are you new?
Yes.
I'm new, I'm lost too, so don't worry. Ask questions, feel free.
Thank you so much. Good morning, how are you? Good.
Found out my PW login yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it takes a while. Yo, I was so overwhelmed.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I didn't sleep any.
I'm just kidding. I'm getting there. Little by little. Where am I? This is
How do I request to be, did she say request to be part of our group?
Christina.
Yeah, she sent me.
Oh, the memo?
Saying, okay, sorry.
Where am I? Okay, right here. Request to join our smooth space between KW Premier agents. Thank you so much. Thank you also for my list. All right, I'm gonna bother you one more time. I'm so sorry. Okay, I get these every morning. I'm guessing we all get these.
Oh, yes.
And then I open it, right?
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. I'll be right in. Jason's running late, so I'm gonna start you guys off.
Okay,
Okay, I'll be right.
and that's like kind of like a do not call list. obviously.
Yeah, so then. You could go, oh, it's 2 weeks.
Um, Yeah, so then, okay, so she sent it, cool, no problem. Can you see the number here? Oh, there you go. This is DNC. My thing is, okay, is that like a do not call list or is that a list for us to, because it says me, in the, when I open it in the morning, I get all excited. That's the same thing I'm doing. I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah, so do I like,
So, cause there was a DMZ list, and then there's a lead list, cause I noticed there's 2 links. So maybe it's the one we want.
can open it.
So that's when I go, maybe it's.
I know DNC, they search for company, they don't play about, if they tell you not to call, you
Yeah,
do not
you better
call.
not.
So,
Let's see, let's see how it goes.
yeah, because it's like, okay.
Yeah, okay, so. Wait. This one?
Yeah, because it comes from Mabel Garcia. You see? Yeah, yeah.
Was it 7?
Mhm.
Oh,
And there's
yeah,
another
this
these just for you.
Oh, no, this is, I got it different,
Mm.
cause yours says for 7.
7-9.
Mine
Oh.
says. Oh, no.
That's what it looks like today. Oh, awesome. Because if these are leads, because I'm struggling with that, and I don't know who to call. I don't have a, I have my contacts. Okay, look right here. Okay, I'm gonna call her. I'm gonna ask her. But thank you. Of course.
I overwhelmed you now, I'm
No.
sorry.
Hi, Yaritza, can you hear me? I think you're on mute.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good, good.
Good. So I'm kind of covering for Jason. He's running a little late. He had an appointment this morning, but I'll start you guys off. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Start over here.
My name is Mercedes.
Nice to meet you,
I'm
ma'am.
a brand new agent. I think I've had my license 3 weeks.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just got my KW login, so you know I'm overwhelmed. Okay. I just started breathing again after I got all that information. No, I'm getting myself situated.
Good,
It's a lot, but I'm so excited and happy to be
Good.
here.
I know it's a lot, but
It is.
just
It's
take
worth
it. Yes, it is worth it.
because I've been to other brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm overwhelmed, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's good.
You'll
It's
get the
worth it.
training here, and if you have any questions, everybody's here to help you.
Okay, perfect. I love
Okay.
it. Everybody is very nice. So, thank you.
Welcome.
My name is Victoria Lazio. I'm actually Christina's new husband.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started
Welcome.
working last week and I'm loving it. Your support, really grateful and fortunate to be here.
Good. Are you an agent as well, or are you just,
Becoming an agent. I went to
Awesome.
TCC.
good, welcome.
Hi, my name is Tania Garcia, and I'm also new at KW. I technically started last week, but it's been just a couple of days because I I also work full-time.
Okay,
So it's kind of hard for me to actually come, so I can't come every
Right.
day until I work out my schedule or
what do you do
Maybe,
full-time?
insurance.
Insurance.
I'm an insurance agent.
Are you eventually gonna go into real estate full-time? Or are you gonna
That's
stay?
my plan.
Okay.
To go to full-time, but I don't know the transition, and like she said, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
too, Because besides I have a full-time job, it's so much of the information.
Yeah.
It's like so much, and I'm like really bad at technology, so I see that you guys work a lot with technology.
Yes, yes,
But
okay.
hopefully.
Welcome,
Thank you.
welcome. Yaritza,
Good morning. My name is Teresa Pearson. And as of for last week, I did a leap of faith and I took the real estate as my full-time. And I'm putting all the effort to get all the training. I did my license sometime, I think in February. But like one of the ladies was saying, I was working and it was not working for me working where I was working. So
uh-huh.
I needed to completely stop that and focus on real estate. And that's what I'm doing right now.
What did you do before?
Well, I'm a jack of all trades, but I was working in a hospital. I
Okay,
was working in a hospital and I was like a program coordinator for residency, but I'm also a nurse. But at this precise moment, I really focus on getting situated with Keller Williams, with real estate, and I have been a business owner before, successful. So I just have
Okay.
to put that same effort and with the tools that we have, I'm
Right.
sure that is going to be good for me.
Yeah, the tools that they provide here
Yeah,
are
at first it was
excellent.
very overwhelmed, like one of the
Yeah.
lady was saying, like, I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot. But now that I have been able to get situated, learn and see the different videos and get coaching with Christina, it have been very, very good experience. I say that it just takes a little bit of time and
Of course,
study for
right.
you to get it. But once you get it, I mean, it's amazing. I can understand now how the tools help me so much.
Yeah, and it's taking that little extra time, even like, after hours, just to go
Yeah,
through command and the videos and, all the material that, you're given during Ignite.
exactly. But it have been very good because I have had showings. Right now I'm trying to I have had more than one showing. I'm waiting on an answer for an apartment to see if my client got it.
Oh,
Today I'm going to go to another showing for another rental. So I have been moving. Um, uh, just started pretty much full time last week, you see. So again, the tools have helped me definitely.
good. All right. Have you guys all downloaded KW, the app, and then the Kelly app as well?
Yes.
No, you haven't?
I don't have any idea, not this.
The Kelly app? So the Kelly app is connected to your commands, and that will give you alerts. Let me see if I can. It's okay. Welcome. So you have two. The KW app is the white one with the red letter. Okay, and then the Kelly app is the KW, but it's like aqua with the white letter.
So Kelly,
Kelly.
K-E-L-L-A.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, this is what it looks like.
Oh, okay.
And it's connected to your command.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
download
anytime you
that.
get like a notification from command, if you have it hooked up to, campaigns and text messages and stuff like that, you'll get them through your phone.
Perfect.
Yeah, or if somebody downloads your app, you'll get notifications for them.
Yep.
This is the regular one, and then this is the Kelly one.
Okay, so I just have to like set up like an account?
Yes.
Okay.
It should be, your command login.
It should be,
And
okay.
when you first sign in, they'll send you an email and with a link for the app and you just click on it. It's download.
Yeah.
Who's gonna say the email? KW or the- who's
Or
gonna-
either Catherine or,
Or Mabel too, I think. No?
Okay,
it was Catherine
Mabel,
from.
oh, it was Catherine? Okay.
okay, I'll ask her.
Yeah,
Thank
or
you.
even Christina can help you too, if
Okay.
you're coaching with Christina, she
Yeah.
can help you with that too.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Have you guys been doing like 411s, following, like creating a list of contacts, calling
Okay.
contacts? Okay, especially the ones that are on your phone. I would start with that, you know, your sphere of influence, the people you know, if you have kids, if they go to cheerleading, if they go to softball, baseball, karate, you know, your own gym, if you go to yoga, anything. That's your sphere of influence, the people that are around you. And definitely, you know, reach out to them, let them know that, you know, you're starting real estate. And that's how you start getting, you know, your business going and your referrals and all that as well. Okay. You guys should also be receiving emails from the office with like seller leads and all that stuff.
I was just.
A lot of
discussing this
people,
here.
yeah,
I was confused because you go on the thing and it says do not call. I know what a DNC means. I was just like,
Right.
get away from this list because.
well,
I
there's
don't
some
wanna
on
call.
there that say do not call, but the ones that do say DNC, do not
Okay, so
call,
both
which
of them.
probably the majority will be.
Yeah, I saw it. That's why, that's what we were discussing when you came in here, because I was like, listen, I worked for a company before where DNC means.
And those
DNC.
people, yeah, those people get nasty.
Yeah, and you can get sued and everything.
Yeah.
Don't play with it. So I was
Yeah.
like, let me find out about this list first before I get Keller Williams sued on my first week.
They
Yeah.
send it out to everybody, to the entire office, and then, you know, people call.
Okay,
I
perfect. So
typically
that's a good list to
don't
do.
call because a lot of people are already calling and these people are probably
Bombarded with
bombarded
calls.
with
So
calls.
line them up in a way that you can call them.
Or
maybe a
even,
week.
or even go back to like a few weeks back,
Right.
like the
Work it
sellers.
backwards. Work
Yes.
it backwards.
Yes, where
Okay,
people have already been called, but
They're not
may,
following up.
yeah, but maybe they're not following up, or maybe, you know, they changed their mind.
And what is a
You
good
know?
script for that?
You should have some in
From like
there,
8:45 every day to script practice. I promise. it's
8:30 or
very
8:45?
8:45?
Okay, with Christina, right?
Okay.
You can even log in on Zoom.
Yes, I'll do that because I was like, it's so overwhelmed. I was tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's no Ignite. Tomorrow I'm gonna stay at home and get myself organized.
And you should have
But I
some
wanna do
scripts
that.
in your,
I know that there has to be some scripts in here, but tomorrow morning, 8:45, I can log into Zoom.
You can log into Zoom. What I do, is whether we have Ignite or not, I'm like working from the office, at least in the morning. So I'm here at 8, I get my things together, get ready for my day. 8:45 script practice, 9 to start your call.
honestly, the best way to even learn and get hands-on is to come into the office.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come in because I'm struggling with the phone calls. Believe it or not, as much as I used the phone in my previous job, I'm coming from the other side now. Before, I used to receive calls.
Right.
Now I'm making calls.
What did
And
you do
no
before?
lie, I used to work for a call center, billing
Okay.
company.
Okay.
No lies, like I'm dragging my feet on it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to come into the office because I know me. I will like try to put it in. I'll do it later,
Yeah.
do it later. It never gets done. So tomorrow I'll be here.
That's why coming in the office is important.
Yeah, no, 8:45 I'll be
Yeah, yeah, you come in and you have those, you have other people push you, you know,
here.
to do
Yeah,
it.
I know me and I know my pitfalls. So thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
I'll be here.
But definitely, the class that I teach, which Jason covered me on, which was last Tuesday, building your business,
Mhm.
there's some script practices in there.
I think that was 2.
I think that was 2, yes.
Yeah.
And even on
There's
the
some in there.
Ignite, you know, website where
Yeah.
all the.
And you can even
information goes
Google
on
it,
Ignite.
just Google, you know, seller leads or, you know, buyer lead script practices,
Perfect.
and you'll come up with a whole bunch.
I'll be here tomorrow to follow you.
But definitely, I think the easier calls are gonna be those of,
So you're my people.
of course, yeah,
Yeah.
your sphere of influence. Those are gonna be the easy, because you've already spoken to them, you know who they are,
Exactly.
so you're gonna feel more comfortable.
I started that last week and I was like, people don't want to hear this, but I got really good response.
Can I give you my example?
Yeah.
Before I joined Keller Williams, I was with another realty. We didn't really get taught about database or anything like that, right? You just get thrown. And I didn't reach out to anybody. They used to call me the secret agent because nobody knew that I was in real estate. And when I started, you know, like actually calling and I was like,
Yeah.
hey, two of my friends, really, I just sold my house. And
Right.
another one, really, I just bought a house.
That hurts.
I'm like,
Your sphere of influence is, it's gonna be the biggest part of you, you know?
Perfect.
Yeah. And
Perfect.
putting yourself out there on social media, you know, video, even like the stories, anything you can, just to put yourself out there so that people know that you are in real estate. Just by doing that, you don't have to say much. People will already know.
Perfect. Okay.
We use social media a lot, Jason and I, and we're pretty big on social media. Videos,
So I know who to
Instagram,
contact harass when I get to
Facebook.
social media, I'll come to you guys.
And that's where you get the most interaction.
oh, definitely,
Everyone's
definitely.
flipping through stories.
Yep.
You know, I just broke up.
And
with-
even going through new construction, sorry, even going through like, even if you go to like new construction homes, videotaping, walking through the
That's
people
what
will
Jason was telling
inquire,
us.
people will inquire.
That's
definitely.
beautiful.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
You know, I left social media with the current state of our politics. I stopped going on social media because it was just so, but now I'm back.
But you know what? You need to put that aside,
Yeah,
and that's what we try to do
don't
is
even look
we
at it.
don't
It's just.
You
I'm
can't
using it as a
put
tool
that
for
on
my
your
real
story,
estate.
don't put it on your social media. Because you don't know who the other person on the other side is, and you don't want that to be a conflict between you and your customers, your friends. So we try not to put anything with politics.
Well, I knew that I was
Or
gonna get into
religion.
real estate, so that's why I was like, let me stay away from social media because I can't help but to like that post. So I think maybe last year, I was like, let me just scrub it, let me leave it alone, and so that way when I get back into it, it'll just show real estate, real estate, real estate.
But even personal, like if you go into Jason and I's Instagram, you're gonna see personal and you're gonna see real estate. You're gonna see our family, you're gonna see our friends, you're gonna see going to the gym, running, whatever the case may be, and because your clientele is gonna want to know a little bit more about you. So we always like to mix it in.
Yeah, I know that clients buy from people they like. so
Right, right.
try
And
to
where they can kind of like, you know,
really-
yeah. You know, so definitely. So let's go ahead and start with a 20-minute call. You know, just 20 minutes of calling. Start with your phone, start with people, you know, that you know, and just let them know that you're in real estate. You know? Because those people are gonna let you know if they know somebody that either wants to buy, sell, or rent. So definitely do that. So we'll do that for 20 minutes. Okay?
Hey, Victor, how are you? Thank you.
Were you able to finish the reviewing? Yes. So I don't know, for some reason, thank God, Nelson found a bigger,
Oh, okay,
that's so much better.
yes.
It's more my client, she's a little bit older, so she wants everything, so.
Awesome.
Give me such a hard. Hello, my name is Malek. I'm an agent with Keller Williams. We spoke about a week or two ago, about your property that you have on for sale on, 1230 Northwest 70th Street. I just wanted to call and learn more about the property. You can give me a call back. My phone number is 786-444-3192. Thank you. Looking forward to hearing from you. Is there any Malak? No, it's okay. Hi, my name is Malak. I'm an agent with Keller Williams. How are you today? I'm good. I am calling you in regards to your property in Village Drive. Are you still selling it? Awesome. So I am a realtor and with Keller Williams, and we do have a lot of buyers and sellers in your area and that area. Actually, we live by there. And I just wanted to learn more about the property and see if how I can help you sell your house. Oh, that's, yeah, that definitely, I do have we do work with a lot of buyers that would be interested in exactly the type of property probably get a lot of calls from realtors. But would you mind if I ask you just a few questions to learn more about the property and about if there's any way we can work together? Awesome. My first question, how much time do you think it will take for you to hire an agent that to help you get? You're not planning at all? Awesome. Do you know, is there any reason why you don't want to work with a realtor? I get a lot of that. Okay, so I know, so as realtors, we do, there's different things that we can do in order to maximize that profit. That we can help you not only sell your house at a higher offer, we do have access to, not only the buyers, but we're very technology based. And so, we can, there's a lot of analysis that we can do to help you get the most money in your pocket. My goal is really when I, help sellers sell their home, their house, what I do is I want to make sure that that the price is correct and we have a bidding war. Do you know what that means? So it's basically when we have a lot of buyers that are interested that go, we market the price for the property properly, and we have a lot of buyers and we create that bidding war where it's kind of like an auction thing, right? Where, okay, I want to give more, because that one can give more, and so that's one of the way we can maximize your profit. Again, we sell houses, that's our job, and I'm pretty sure we can help you get not only the most money in your pocket, but also, sell that house, that property with the less amount of hassle. And I know you're not in a rush, but we can, that type of property is really, it's what buyers are looking for. So we can definitely sell it pretty fast, especially in this seller market. Do you know a little bit about the market, today's market? Oh, okay, well, thank you for your time. I mean, if you don't mind, would you mind if I add you to my database and maybe we can stay in touch? Sure. No, don't worry. Okay, have a great day.
You sound good. You sound really, really good.
This lady will get followed up.
He's here.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it around so that you guys can sign it.
Thank you. Oh, no problem.
No, I was asking if there is, like a specific script that, like for us, for beginners, that you recommend? Because there's so many options.
Specify that question.
So this is Christina here, and this is the practice where I go off, and literally when I call, I use this to kind of. The book's name is Yes, I think, right? Yeah, Kevin Ward's Book of Yes, and that's all Christina. She gives.
So when you say script because we're new, what do you mean by that?
I haven't done real estate before.
Okay, what'd you do
And I
before?
do Insurance, but it's definitely because in the office that I work, people call all the time.
Okay.
So I don't have to make calls.
Okay,
So I'm like having a hard time. And
you gotta call them back, don't
you?
you?
Huh?
You have to call them back though, don't you?
Not exactly. The
No?
office is always like coming in and then more like a
Okay.
person.
So how do you sell me insurance?
How do I sell
Yeah, like how do you tell me about insurance? What's your name
Well,
again?
My name's Tanya.
Tanya,
Come in and
I want
fill
insurance
out
for
the-
my house or my car.
Well, I don't do house and home insurance, so we do auto insurance.
Okay, how do I want
So-
insurance for my car?
Well, yeah, I would ask you for your license.
Okay.
I would ask you, what are you looking for? I would tell you you know, if you want full coverage,
Sure.
or if you want just PIP, and, you know.
What's the difference between full coverage and PIP?
Well, full coverage pretty much covers your collision,
Okay,
and like if you have an accident, depending on the deductible, if you have 500 deductible or 1,000.
okay,
More likely, it's the customers that we always get, it's 1,000 deductible.
okay,
So, you know, that's something that you have to pay, like in the moment of the insurance,
okay,
that's what you have to pay, and then the insurance pays the rest.
okay.
And PAP is just covers what the state is required for you to have insurance. Like
Oh,
that's
okay.
law,
Okay,
just the personal.
got it. So what did we just do there, guys?
Have a conversation pretty much.
Okay,
You just sold me your product.
Not exactly, because he put me into.
No.
That's what I've been told. That's what I've been told. These sales
so what's the
are
product?
crazy.
How does she sell me her product?
By talking to you a little bit about it and
Sure.
talk to you about the benefits
Sure.
of that insurance.
So,
Yeah, I didn't really get to explain the benefit, but because you just threw me out there. and
That's
it's
okay.
different.
no, but it's not different.
But
So what I want you to see that it's not different, guys, okay? It's not different. I know we have some medical, nurses or right past nurses and so forth. So it's not different. All we did is have a conversation. Right?
right,
And all you did was acknowledge my concerns, my questions. And kind of gave me the options. Right? And made me feel more comfortable. Okay? So it's not different. If you're coming into the business saying, I'm new to this, you're already setting yourself up for failure. So Christina told you about a book called Yes, right? Never read it, but I know what it's about. The way you word things and the way you your verbiage, right? If your words are, I can't do that, versus let me see what I can do, customer service 101. Anybody know that? It's customer service 101, right? If everything out of your mouth is no, you can't do that, you're probably gonna scare away your business. And they're probably not gonna wanna work with you. But if you open up possibilities, right? People are gonna wanna work with you. Does that make sense? Okay, so I don't want you to think that you're new. You have years of experience, right? You obviously know how to read documents. You obviously know how to speak to people, because even though I kind of threw it out there to you, you still responded, right? You say, she knows her products, right? She knows it. So knowing the market is very important, right? And that's what we're gonna talk about today, right? Price to sell. So knowing the market is really what it is. As this contract, guess what, guys? That's never gonna change. This contract never gonna change. The only thing that's gonna change is the stuff you plug in. And guess what? Here's a template. And it's gonna change case by case, right? Sales price, closing date,
Condition.
is there any additional conditions, right? And how do you word it? And that's why you have a book like Christina or Marietta, whatever the case may be, to help you, kind of answer those questions. Were you in the first class I taught, session 2? You weren't.
no, I wasn't, because I was at work.
So remember, this business is a relationship and marketing business. It's all about relationships. Okay? If you don't know how to build relationships and nurture your relationships, the likelihood of business growing, you may have to face some challenges. But it's about relationships. Relationships you met today, relationships you met years ago. Okay? I got a phone call, right? People call for sale by owners. I got a phone call from a for sale by owner. Somebody I know, I probably know them easy 20 years. Hey, I have my house on Zillow. This is what's going on. I'm looking to see, and now I'm in communication, see if I can help. My goal is to help them. If I can help them, great. But it has to be a win-win. It has to make sense, right? And that's where I'm coming to a draw now, where it's like, wait a second, if they're asking for this property, I don't know if it's gonna make sense for me, even in this market, right? And so forth. So 20 years ago, guys. Okay? Tomorrow, I'm meeting with a customer I met 3 months ago. I'm also meeting with a customer I met 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about the relationship. So if you've done insurance for how many years?
Me?
Yep.
For 7.
7 years. You should probably have a pretty large data bank, which we talk about in session 2, right? And how you build that data bank. That's the business. So when it comes to scripts, you're gonna read scripts, you're gonna learn scripts, you're gonna, you guys, there's some great scripts on YouTube too. I'll say that over and over again. The same way you'll stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning studying for your nursing exam. You should probably be, studying your real estate business. Okay, and studying that real estate business, means watching videos, right? Now, keep in mind, there may be some videos out there, don't get mixed up into the nonsense. Like I've seen videos like, why is one brokerage better than the other? And stuff like that. But there's some great videos out there that have great scripts. And you may find somebody that hey, this is somebody I like. YouTube. Michelle will tell you when I first got into real estate, I served tables. If I got home at 12:30 and I was wired up, it's like, that's what I'm watching. Right? Just kind of learning. I don't, someone told me the other day, and they said, you don't role play. And I said, well, yeah, I do role play. Well, no, I never see you in the role play class. I said, well, guess what? I role play when I go have dinner. I role play when I go take my dry cleaning. I role play when I go get my hair cut. Okay? My barber, I've done 3 transactions with so far. 3. We'll do a 4th. I'm sure of that. Okay? So, and that's where I came from. I'm sorry, guys, I was a little late, but I double booked and I'm leaving out of town this weekend. So, and he's like by appointment only, the way, he works, right? So 3 deals with my barber. Okay? So when you're, role playing, there's a great book also too called I think it's called The Art of Negotiation. It's an FBI negotiator, right? And he says it. You negotiate even when you go to Starbucks, right? Crystal? Victoria.
Well.
I knew he was like, yeah.
Something cute.
Yeah, I knew it was something, thank you, something like.
I'm laughing because I'm the same way.
So, hey Victoria, oh my God, love your pin on your hat, right? That's so cool. Where'd you get it? Right? What am I doing, right? Now when Victoria says, hey, I made you a pente instead of grande. And that's what that book talks about, right? It's really about just relationships and getting people to trust you, right? The person I'm meeting with that I've known for a few years, how do you think I met him? Anybody guess?
Just out somewhere.
Yeah, running. Right, from a running group. And every time I see him when running, my favorite real estate couple. So he comes and tells me, Michelle, never did a transaction with him ever. Oh, I love watching your video. Now he's thinking of selling. He says, I trust you guys. That's what the text says. I'm out of town right now, but when I get back, I want to meet, just go over numbers, tell me what your guys thought. I trust you guys. That is the business, guys. How many of you guys have a favorite restaurant? No? Favorite hairdresser? Favorite nail person? Right?
I've contacted them all.
Hmm?
I've contacted them all.
But would you go to another hairdresser?
No,
Why not?
that's my girl.
That's
That's
your girl.
she's who I trust with my hair. Gotcha, understood.
Understood? I trusted you with my insurance. I probably wouldn't trust you with the sale of my house. Okay?
Yeah.
So, you guys went over your contacts and your cards. You guys are doing no cards and stuff like that, like we talked about in session 2. Yeah, just it's follow up. The one that called me for sale by owner, I've been sending him birthday cards and him and his wife birthday cards and holiday cards
I have to
for the
say,
past 5 years, right? He called, right? Hey, I didn't even know he had his house on Zillow. Hey, I have this question, right? And listen, I may work with him, I may not. I may have the opportunity to help him, I may not. I would love the opportunity to help him. That's the business I'm in.
Yeah.
Right? I want people to be able to come and feel comfortable talking to me and speaking to me. I understand I may not have the opportunity to help everybody, right? But I'm here to look and guide and everybody into the right direction, right? And that I go to sleep with every night very well, knowing that I'm doing it, right? But again, it's acknowledging that person, listening to them. What are they looking for? If I'm asking you what's the difference between full coverage, I probably don't know about insurances, right? I don't know what's the difference. Like, first time doing this, right? So it's just, who are my nurses? You? Yaritza, is she on the Zoom?
She should be.
Is she on Zoom? Yaritza, my nurse, right? So it's just like in healthcare, right?
I'm here.
Yeah, so why do patients get, whether in the waiting room or sitting on a hospital bed, why do they get frustrated?
Repeat that. It's just, you're kind of far.
Why do patients in
Mhm.
hospitals, right, whether in a waiting room or in a hospital bed, why do they get frustrated or upset?
Well, first of all, the reason that they're in the hospital is because they're sick. So they already have something that is uncomfortable in their body. And then they want to get assistance immediately. The
Right,
thing is, that it's only a matter of time that you can get to a patient because there are tests that needs to be run. And sometimes they don't understand that they want to be taken care of right away.
yeah, so they want, hey, I'm here, it's me.
I know.
They want acknowledgement, right? So, and this is studies, right? This is proven studies. If the patient is waiting in the waiting room, okay, and if they're waiting in the waiting room 30 minutes and nobody acknowledges them, they're likely to be dissatisfied or not really very satisfied, right? They could wait in the waiting room an hour, but if you acknowledge them every 15 minutes, right? Victoria, I know you've been waiting, it's Monday. There's a lot of patients. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Can I get you something to drink? Victoria, thank you for your patience, right? We're, Dr. Smith is gonna, see you, it may be a little bit more time. Can I get you a fresh cup of coffee, right? Right? But if you're acknowledging that person, you're communicating with that person, the anxiety reduces and they could still walk out with a high satisfaction rate. Okay, same thing with restaurants. Right? I worked in a restaurant. Manager tried to give me a tough time because of, I don't know, sauce that I didn't charge the customer for, something like that. And owner comes and talks to me about it. And I said, listen, how many times have you had a customer come and complain about my service or anything within the restaurant? Any of my customers, any of my tables, you give me 6 tables a night, how many times you had a complaint? He said, man, well, I really can't think of one. I said, the reason being is that there's a lot of times burgers don't come out cooked very well, the way they want it, right? Something doesn't come out the way they want it. And at the end of the day, I'm being attentive to them and I'm listening to their needs, right? Where other servers or other waiters may hide behind the counter and they sit by the kitchen and they're waiting for the food. Does that not happen? Chef, which is the owner? Yes, it does. And I said, so pardon me for not charging for that sauce, but at the end of the day, are you more concerned about the sauce or your customer's experience? Okay. So customer's experience is very important. So if you know how to do that in insurance, you should know how to do that in real estate. Good. All right. So going back to pricing to sell, and understanding what today's market, right? Okay, you guys did your 10-4? Okay. So I'm gonna jump right into it. Page 10. You can see my screen, Yarisa?
We haven't shared it yet.
I haven't shared it yet. No, okay.
Yeah.
You can see it?
Mm-hmm. Behind you.
Oh, okay, here. How about now? You can see the PowerPoint?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so page 10. Can someone go ahead and read the first top portion for me, please?
I'll read it.
Thank you.
Get your head in the game. Helping sellers determine the correct price for their property is part of the value you bring to them. Pricing can be easy with a properly prepared CMA. Presenting your CMA and discussing pricing with the seller are the two major components of the listing appointment. You've already learned the dominant role your mindset plays in success in real estate sales. It's the same with your seller. Keep going.
Okay, so mindset is everything, right? And you hear that very often. And you may have not heard that in, corporate America, right? But in real estate, being that you're now a business owner. I know Mate, Mate was your instructor yesterday, and we talked about that, right? Understanding that you're not just a realtor, right? Or, hey, I sell properties or I help renters or whatever it may be, but understand to operate as a business. Mindset has a lot to do with it. Mindset has a lot to do with pretty much everything in life. Okay? Mindset, like the book, yes, right? If you keep telling, a dog, don't do that, stop, no, right? As opposed to saying, Snoopy, come here, go outside, you should go outside. Right? So learning verbiage, meaning the direction, the words you use, right? Positive reinforcement, right? And stuff like that. That's how you deliver it, right? And getting into and when we're talking about pricing to sell, it's all about mindset. Okay. I don't have a crystal ball, right? I get asked all the time, go get my hair cut, right? Go take my dry cleaners. I walk into my dry cleaners. Going back to, relationships, right? I think I hit my 4th year anniversary, like I was coming up to it. And I walked in and the guy at the dry cleaning owner said, hey, how long has it been you've been in real estate now? 4 years? I swear to God, it was like a month before my 4-year anniversary. And man, how do you know? Thank you. Yeah, see what I'm saying? So when we come in, but I'm coming in there and I'm bringing in clothes, right? But I'm also sending them holiday cards at Christmas. Thank you for your service. I'm writing the movie reviews, right? So this is going back to the relationship. So anyways, constantly, our direction is that we want to be the resource when we're using social media, cards, notes, phone calls, right? That people want to call us, or reach out to us as the real estate expert. I'm calling you for advice, my Zillow guy yesterday, right? And when this guy called me yesterday, it made me think about today's class, right? Jason, I wanted to ask your opinion. Okay, that's what I'm here for. Okay, what can I help you with? Right? So getting into the mindset of understanding when you're meeting with sellers and pricing is that I don't know the market, like I can't predict the market, right? When someone calls me for advice, because the number one question is what? How's the market? How's the market? Is this true? Is the market going to crash? Are prices going to continue to go up? Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Right? I can only interpret the market today. I don't know what the market's going to do tomorrow. I can have my feeling on what the market's going to do tomorrow, but I don't know for certain, right? So interpreting this to sellers and getting them into the mindset of what the current market is, right? And relevant of whether the market's hot, right, for sellers, or it's a buyer's market, or any market, right? Knowing the current market is very, very, very important, right? So just like knowing your full coverage and your insurance coverages and what are the benefits and so forth, right? Knowing the current market is very important. How do you know the current market? Yeah. Knowing, right? You should be dating at least once a day in MLS, right? Knowing how where price is going, areas that you maybe specialize in or work. What are you seeing? You're gonna know trends and patterns. Some people will sit there and they'll know numbers, like someone like Mate will sit there and tell you prices went up last month, X%. Right? I'm not that person. I'm not a numbers person, right? I see trends and patterns, right? Well, this is what it's going. I don't pinpoint percentages or whatever it's gonna be, but you may be that person, right? You're gonna say, hey, I'm noticing in Homestead, this is the trend. Prices are going up 3%. Right? This is what I'm seeing going on, right? So, conversing with sellers is really you're interpreting the market, right? I'm translating the market and knowing what my base on the market is, I want to get them into a game plan. This is the game plan that we're coming up with together. Make sense? So pricing is a process. Learn how to do it is also requires knowing pricing strategies based on principles that drive the market, right? So like things that are going on, and and we know what's going on, right? It's a seller's market. Sellers are, doing this, or buyers are doing that, right? And what's going on? Now, keep in mind, markets don't always stay the same, right? Things like seasons continue, more so in the north than in the south, right? Middle of winter in the north, I'm sure the market's a bit different, than it is in the summer, right? If you live like in a state that has heavy snow, right? For us, a lot of times in South Florida, it has to do around like school years. Summer, great, now it's a great time to move because kids are out of school. And it's easier, right? In some cases, it's slower because people are on vacation. Sometimes the holidays, people, they don't want to move during the holidays, and sometimes that's the perfect time, right? And you have something like COVID that throws that all off, and now kids are not in school, so it really doesn't matter, right? So that's what we kind of saw, right? The market was hot, didn't matter about school season, it just mattered because people started rethinking how they wanted to, right? So understanding that the market constantly changes, right? It's funny because we have a property listed and we have an offer, full price offer. A offer. Showed it 30 times, we have a offer, one offer. It's a good offer. But to someone like Michelle and Luz, that they've been really like soaked up in this hot market, right? Because like she's been in real estate 2 or 2.5 years. So this is kind of what she's seeing. They're used to packed open houses. Right? I did open house with Luz, and we had a turnout, maybe 10 people, which is a great open house. But if you're in this market, when you kind of came into this, into a hot market, where you used to coming to an open house, and you're like, wow, there's 50 people down the road. Waiting to get into the open house, 100 people showed up to the open house. Now you think 10 people is a unsuccessful open house. And the reality is that it's a very successful open house because that's not going to happen forever. Right? It's not. It's probably already starting to see it to slow down a little bit, right? Where sellers are just like, I'm not doing this. My buyers, I'm not doing this. Continue waiting on that. And losing offers. I'll just wait. Right? So you see buyers fatigue. That's happening.
I was reading on CNN last night.
And it's happening. It's not, I don't think prices drop necessarily like tremendously or anything like that. But I think you're that code of like, 100 people waiting outside and you have 50 offers and so forth. I think that code has already started to sell. Okay. Again, seeing it by the properties that we have, right? And seeing by the activity we have, by the buyers we're talking to. I think the prices are high. 9 out of 10 buyers are saying that, 8 out of 10 buyers are saying that. I got to interpret that as sellers. Right? So my for sale by owner calls me yesterday and says, well, I'm not going to how open this and that. I said, okay, well, tell me a little bit about the house. Tell me about the house. Oh, it's super, it's updated, everything's wood, everything in there is wood, not, Formica, like everything's real wood, it's completely updated. Right, how many square feet? Oh, about 2,000 square feet. And it has a pool. How big is the lot? 0 lot. Okay. How much you have in 0? 650,000. Okay. right there, I know the market, I know the area. I didn't tell them it's high yet. But I'm thinking like, yeah. Oh, I know, I took pictures with my cell phone, I'm like,
That too.
yeah, that too, right? But it's not just that, I know the market. So we made you do 650. Well, how do you come up with that number? Sure enough, when I looked at Zillow, he had it at 675, right? What made you come up with 650? No, because I'm hearing that, buyers are paying this and buyers are doing that and blah, 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 and sellers. Right? We're hearing a lot more of that too, right? So if everybody's thinking the same thing, usually the unexpected happens. Things change, they shift. Yeah, I think you probably missed that opportunity. Or it's still a seller's market. But is this house truly worth $650,000? Right? Would you pay $650,000 for something? There's always going to be a true market value for a property, right? Just because a property was worth maybe $10,000, $20,000 a few months before, because of the local market, doesn't mean that it's a bad price, right? At the end of the day, it boils down to what? The M word. Motivation. Why are you looking to sell? Where are you moving? Top 3 reasons why people sell.
Death, divorce,
You said it.
Relocation.
Relocation.
All right, top 3 reasons. Why are you moving? Right, we just canceled this. I don't know where he's gonna go, now wants to raise the price. Brought you 3 offers. Fighting to get you even when you're asking, because we're not getting it because it's high. Now you wanna raise the price? Not worth it. Not, it's not worth me having someone on my team go out there frustrated because they can't sell this property, right? So knowing what the current market, knowing prices, knowing there's always a price during that current market, right? Having a successful open house in any market, right? Prices go up, prices go down, right? There's a point where Apple stock, right? Becomes a deal. Like you're like, man, this is fair, I'll buy it. When it comes high, you're like, I don't know if I want to buy it, right? So, any questions so far? Okay. So part of the things that some of the things we're gonna go from on page 11 is how the market works, local market conditions, and pricing criteria, right? So again, knowing how the market works, it's pretty much what we've talked about. What's the current market? What is it doing, and so forth. Local market conditions. What are some examples of local market conditions? Tell me some areas you're interested in, or you live, or you want to, Okay, Kendall, you like Kendall, and you want to maybe do business at Kendall? Okay, Brickell, so perfect. So Kendall and Brickell. What's the difference?
There's more condos in Brickell than in Kendall.
There's more condos than there are in Brickell, sure. What else?
difference in like general or?
Yeah, I know. Tell me. Traffic, okay. But what about real estate specific? There's a traffic in Kendall too.
The prices, right?
Prices change, sure. What changes prices?
There's more demand in Brickell than in Kendall.
There's more demand in Brickell?
I mean, I don't think there's more demand, it's just the buyers.
Who's
It's
buying
a
in Brickell?
different process.
Sure. So who's buying in Brickell?
People that have more money.
Okay.
than in Kendall.
Investors, people out of town.
Right? So understanding that, right? That's a difference. Right?
It's more of an investment.
Maria that works at Baptist,
They're not gonna buy.
right? And maybe she works in the front desk, the cafeteria, right? Has great benefits and so forth. She may not be looking to buy in Brickell, right? You or I may not be looking to buy in Brickell, right? However, the buyer that buys in Brickell typically is going to be what? Maybe a bachelor or international student or investor or someone that's buying a second home and wants a condo, near everything, so forth, right? So, you know, a condo in Brickell goes for like $600 a square foot. Maybe even more than, right? $600 a square foot, where a condo in Kendall probably goes maybe like 180 a square foot, maybe 200 and low 200 square foot, right? Big difference, right? So knowing that what's gonna happen, what, you know, could happen there and what could happen in Kendall is two different scenarios, right? Yeah. You know, if I have an investor or have somebody that's buying it and say, well, I want to buy a condo and I want to rent it out. What do you recommend, right? Well, you recommend them to buy something in Brickell, or you recommend them to buy something in Kendall, right?
I mean, wouldn't it depend also on their price range?
It could depend on the price range,
And
sure.
what they're looking
Yeah.
for? 'Cause
Yeah.
I have an investor, he has a price range, he could get a bigger apartment in Kendall, you know.
Yeah.
But they want in Brickell.
Sure. So they want Brickell, you give them Brickell, right?
Yeah.
Or I give them, instead of one condo in Brickell, I give them 5 in Kendall. Mr. Customer, does that make sense to you? Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, stick with Brickell.
At least you gave them that.
Right,
Yeah,
at least I
educate
gave them,
them.
right, but at least I gave them that option.
But that's the point,
But if it-
educate them, educate
But
them,
if
right?
Victoria comes and says, hey, I want to buy a condo and investment, but I don't, you know, I have this money saved up and so forth, like, what do you think? Right, well. All right, let's look at the rentals in Brickell. How many vacant rentals are out in Brickell? Right? How many vacant rentals are in Kendall?
Not that many in Portside.
There's not a lot of Brickell rentals, no? I would think that there would be. I don't do Brickell, but I'm just, right? So, I mean, I've done it, but it's not where I'm from, right? But if it was me, right, you're asking me, Victoria, like that's me, I like Kendall, or I even like Hialeah. Why? It's a working class community, right? You find a good tenant that's gonna maybe be in there for a long time, right? Not somebody that's gonna stay there for 2 years while they're going through school, and then you're gonna find another tenant, and, you know, stuff like that, right? Think about, you know, one of my investors, customers, friends, he's the one that taught me that, right? He says, oh, I love Hialeah. He says, I love Hialeah. Because real estate's always gonna be in demand, it's always, you know, it's people that, you know, he loves Section 8. He loves Section 8. I rented one of his apartments, 3-bedroom apartment, 2 baths in Hialeah for $1850. He gets paid every month on the first of the month.
Yeah, but there's risks.
What's the risk?
In Section 8?
What's the risk?
What if the government says no?
My daughter has Section 8, let's best believe that you will lose everything before you use your voucher.
Yep.
That rent is paid by the 28th of the month.
They don't want the Section 8 renter, and this is, again, this is from, you know,
And there are people who look for
From a-
Section 8 renters
from a
because they
standard.
know that their money's gonna be
it's
guaranteed.
guaranteed. That's what he looks at. 5 months, not guaranteed. They screw up, they're not gonna screw up. They don't wanna lose their Section 8.
And I'm telling you, my daughter
So I love
has it.
Section 8 renter. If it's you, you know, you work at whatever, store, you work at Macy's, and you're renting and COVID comes around,
You're gonna be kicked out before that Section
what's
8.
gonna happen, right?
Because
Oh, I
that's-
can't pay my rent because of COVID, okay. Wait till they lift those rental restrictions.
Mhm. You'll be the first to go.
I'm not renewing your lease.
They know Section 8, they're gonna get their money regardless. No
Yep.
matter come hell or high water, they're gonna get their money.
So, you know, just understanding these, I have one renter, she doesn't like section, investor, she has a bunch of renters, and I've rented a bunch of units. from her. She said, I just really don't know, and she talked to her friend, and every time we work one of her rentals, because I've done several, she has several, right? And I don't do many rentals, but I have customers that I do them for, right? Because I find, they're like, I consider them VIP customers, right? And I said, you know, Shanaz, I think Section 8 is great because this is why. Like, I got my customer $1850 Section 8 rental. The rent comes in every month. And that renter is probably gonna stay there 5, 10, 15.
It's all-
They're gonna stay there forever. They're gonna stay there forever. They're gonna stay, if they're on Section 8, they're probably gonna stay on Section 8. And your rent's gonna be there. If you increase the rent, Section 8 is gonna increase it.
So what are why are landlords?
Landlords, because landlords, it's just misconceptions, right? It's just like
That, and also like the paperwork, to me, if you ask my personal opinion, it's a hassle at first.
Yeah, it is.
But it's definitely worth it in the long run. And like you said, a lot of the landlords aren't educated
And they don't understand that, yeah, the paperwork is a BITCH in the beginning, but it guarantees them money on that property. So you may have to, take a few months to get the paperwork filled in. In those few months, yeah, it takes about three months for the payments to kick in, but once those payments kick in, that comes out like your paycheck every month.
Yep.
So it should.
The beginning's, the beginning process is a little bit time consuming.
It is time consuming, a little bit frustrating, but it's worth it.
All right, so so we talked about local market conditions, right? Even though we talked about Miami-Dade County, Hialeah is different than Homestead, right? Kendall's different than Berkeley. Doral different than Kendall. Doral different than Hialeah, right? And understanding those markets, and some of them, sometimes they can be very similar, right? But just knowing, the type of buyer, meaning, you see a lot of cash buyers, right? I don't do a lot of Doral. I maybe did one transaction there, like I really don't do a lot of Doral, but I understand in Doral there's a lot of cash buyers, right? International buyers, so right, same thing with Berkeley, right? Like there's gonna be these international cash buyers, they come in with this money and they need a parking somewhere, right? So whatever the case may be. Now, pricing criteria, right? So pricing criteria, sorry, let me slow down. We're at how the market works. We talked about that. Page 12, local market conditions. So going back to some of the things on local market conditions, how much is the house for sale? Is the inventory rising or falling, right? Are you seeing the inventory increase or decrease? Right? A few months ago, all we saw was a decreasing, right? Now it kind of feels like it's increasing a little bit. We're not at the, pre-COVID, even pre-COVID, it was tight, but, I think I shared this in the second class, in session 2, inventory's been tight since 2019. It started getting tight. It wasn't tight because of COVID. COVID just kind of accelerated that, right? But it was already tight. Are we seeing inventory open up, right? Are we seeing it increase, right? Days on market, how long are properties taking to sell? Okay, so days on market, you'll see that on the bottom of the listing. Okay.
I've always wondered, where do you see that?
Yeah.
On the MLS?
Okay, for sure. It's right down the bottom, right? Days on market, you see more days on market. And that's something you want, have a conversation with your customer, right? What's their goal? Why is it important to not have that property sit on the market for a long time? Okay, what happens when a property sits on the market for a long time? What do buyers start to think?
There's gotta be something wrong with it.
Something wrong, like maybe they're now
Nobody bought it, so nobody wants it.
well, but sometimes they become desperate. Guess what? That's what this for sale by owner told me yesterday. I'm not in a rush. I look on Zillow, it's already been on the market for a month. Well, Charlie, that's not really the right, I understand, maybe in your mind. Well, I really don't need the money. I want to sell because I want to retire, but I don't need the money because you have about bills, so forth. Well, that doesn't mean that you don't need the money. But Charlie, you're in the Keys. You go fishing. I know you have a boat. If you saw the boat on the side of Highway 1, and it was sitting there for 2-3 months, the guy's trying to sell it, and it's just sitting there selling. What do you start to think about that boat?
No, I think.
What's wrong with it? Why is this guy not selling this boat? People in the Keys love to go on boats, right? Like you start to think these things, right? So again, going into the mindset and understanding when you're translating the market, and part of that market conditions is days on market. What's your message, right? Really, what's your message? And understanding this helps you with that scripting, right? So when someone calls you and says, "Hey, Danya, hey Danya, so I'm thinking about buying, or I'm thinking about selling, and what do you think about the market? Or what do you think about this?" Right? Understanding these things, you have your own scripts. Now you made the scripts into your own scripts. Right? Well, this is what I'm seeing, and this is what I'm thinking, let's meet, right? Maybe I can show you a little bit more specific on your property. What's your address? Let me do some research and make a time so we can meet and we can go over this, right? Hopefully one. And then in the appointment, you'll have these further conversations, right? But you're gonna get those phone calls and you're gonna get those people that are gonna ask you for, start asking you for advice, right? What's your opinion, right? Well, I'm seeing properties more days on market now, right? And what I'm translating to you right now is things I'm seeing, right? Seeing a little bit more days, not tremendous, but seeing more days. I'm seeing more properties come back on market, right? I'm seeing, where before it was like, a day, bang, gone. A day, 2 days, bang, gone, right? And that's why I say it's very important to understand the current market, because you want to be a great agent, not in this hot market, in any market, right? Because it's funny, because I see agents that I know, and they're, you see their stories, and yeah, look at this line, and it's like, yeah, like I did this. No, the market did that, right? Tell me when you do that in a buyer's market. Tell me when you could create a great open house and you could get your sellers above asking in any market. And you can't, right? People say, oh, we're getting 15 above asking. Dude, I got 10, 15 above asking in a buyer's market. Like, you should be able to do that in any market. Well, maybe not to that extreme, but at least, right? Something that really works for your seller. This works, this is good. This market, this is great, right? Again, it goes back to knowing the pricing criteria and so forth. What is it? What can it be? All right, changes in your local landscape. Okay, sorry, price per square foot. So I'm on page 12. A good comparative indicator of price when a group of properties has a common qualities or features. What are we talking about? Common qualities and features.
Are we talking about like rooms, like kitchen?
Okay, more specific. What did we just finish talking about? Condos, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, so talking about price per square foot. So if you have a cluster of townhouses, right? And let's say there's 4 townhouses, right? This is a 2-bedroom, this is a 3-bedroom, there's a 2-bedroom, there's a 3-bedroom, sorry, right? And they all kind of look the same. Right, they all look the same. Maybe they all have, this has 1,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, maybe it's a little bigger, that has 1,600 square feet, 1,500, 1,600, right? Pretty much the same. Yes? Okay, so when they're all the same, what's the next variable? Is there one?
Is it renovated? What's in?
Condition. Right, so maybe this one has like $10,000 more, right? But this one is just kind of like original. Right? This one has $20,000. This one's original. Make sense?
Yeah.
So in that case, I could do price per square foot, right? So if this is 1,500 square feet, right? And 1,500 square feet redone, let's just say $200 a square foot. That's low. Let's say, yeah, let's say $200 a square foot. Right? So times 1,500 is what? $300,000. Right? So let's say the going price is price per square foot, and you can look at that by close sale. And again, I'm just going to run numbers, it's 300,000, right? So this one here, because it has 10,000 in upgrade, maybe we could get something like 310. Plus minus, whatever, Make sense? Okay. So that is,
Sorry.
No,
I have
no,
a question.
never bothered.
I'm not sure, this is where I went online, which is the Ignite, but it's still different from you.
Are you in session 5?
No.
That's 5 years. Go to, where's your name? How did you get there?
I had it open already from the previous class.
Oh, that's the previous.
Oh, this is different.
It is. Yep. Different chapters.
You go to the natural.
Command, you go, from command, you go to training, ignite, are the previous ignite should be in there, no?
This is the same.
So Ignite.
Okay, correct.
This is Ignite.
The information you will hear.
It's in the book.
Did you get a book? You guys got books? You got a book?
I don't.
All right, so this is the course info. You can go back and so forth. Materials. So if you go to material student files. So right now you want to write, so that's Canada, but we're not in Canada. But you want to find Ignite session 5. Student. PDF. So there you go.
Thank you.
Price this up. That should be it. So when we're talking about condos, so condos in Brickell, you know, townhouses in Kendall, Homestead, or you know, anything that's kind of very similar in characteristic, it's pretty much like that, right? It's pretty much like that. Like those newer townhomes, you know, pretty much, you know, you can't just get 50 grand more, right? You know, there's nothing supporting me to get 50 grand, right? Unless, I don't know, did you build a pool one?
I was
Really,
gonna say, put a pool.
you put a pool, you like really upgraded, yeah, maybe so, right? The likelihood of that is in those townhomes is not
Yeah,
very
they're
high.
cookie cutter.
They're not very high, right? But so there may be, right? I'm not saying it's not impossible, but maybe there is one that goes like really upgraded, right? And like, hey, this one's like really upgraded, it's worth the 50 grand more, right? And you could vouch for that, right? Because getting into the mindset is I need to have a seller understand, we still have to go through what? The appraisal process.
Appraisal, inspection.
I still gotta go through the appraisal process. So not only do I have to, great, I can get a contract for your property for $1 million, but doesn't mean it's gonna sell for that, right? Yeah, okay. All right, pricing criteria, I'm sorry, changes in the local landscape, monitor changes in major employers, shopping, schools, and other services in the community. So, you know, things that are, you know, maybe impacting housing. What are some of the things that are maybe impacting housing in South Florida?
Everything.
Kendall, Homestead. Tell me some things for that. No? Amazon. Right?
That plant they're putting down there, really
Amazon's
close to my
been-
house.
Yeah, Amazon's been heavily kind of coming into the area, right?
And you should see it, it's astronomical.
Yeah.
That's gonna bring a lot of jobs there.
On the Lion Homestead.
Oh, yeah. By,
Um,
I think it's by the new FedEx they have out there.
And that's gonna make the prices in Homestead go higher. It's already gone higher
Yeah.
than what it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Homestead is coming up. Do not fall asleep on Homestead, because in 5 years, Homestead's gonna look like Dadeland looks now.
yeah, Homestead, right?
It's un campo.
I mean, and it may take more, a little more time. I don't know. I think, you know, to kind of get there, right? Because, but then you have these,
Okay.
right? Because there's still pockets that are really growing, some that, maybe
So
not so much,
Allen,
but Homestead has grown, right? Like, it's grown, Kendall's grown, right? 836, they're extending to, you know, to the Chrome, right? Chrome, even though you guys have Chrome,
it's double.
it's starting to feel like US one, right?
Yeah.
We've seen houses
It's
being
not
built.
like a dirt road
on left and
anymore.
right, right? Yeah. You know, I lived for a very long time in that apartment in Kendall Drive, so it's like it's one way each way, right? But now you're seeing more and more like houses and businesses kind of come up on that, right? It's kind of looking like a US one. And then
Really is.
36 is gonna extend, right? So that take, you know, 10 years. Right? That could take 5 years. Like, that's my challenge with the one that we canceled because of Amazon. Like, I'm sitting on a gold mine, when they build this and this and that, the guy's 91 years old. Bob, you're correct. Prices are gonna continue to go up in the long. I can't get you what you want, you know, this year. It may take me 2 years to get you what you think. I don't know. But that's the reality of it. Like, do we sit on this for 2 years as a listing? Like, what do we do? Is your property gonna be worth this amount at some point? I agree with you 1,000%. It's worth. Okay, going back into the game plan, I'm gonna show you some charts that we use, and you can use, and they're gonna be in your books, and when you create your listing presentation or whatever it may be, to kind of incorporate that, right? So when we talk about pricing and getting a seller in mindset into the game, we're doing this so that when we come to price, the conversation itself should be very minimal. So my presentation or and you know, right now it's like not even so much a presentation, but my meeting with a seller, 10% of the conversation is about price. Maybe that, right? Because 10% of my conversation has to do with price, you know, getting into the mindset of what we're at, right? You know, how do we get to the right place? And then it becomes a conversation. Right? I don't like to tell sellers, you know, this is the price. Because I've been wrong before. I've had sellers that are like, yeah, let's go a little bit higher. And it's sold. And it's sold at that price. Right? So again, depending on the market, there's sometimes that things are kind of moving in a different direction that day. At least I had the conversation, right? But I don't like to tell sellers like this is the price. I like to give a range. I'm bringing you comparables. This is what the market's telling us. This is how I think we should strategize our pricing. What do you think, Victoria? Well, you know, Victoria, I think you're right. Victoria, I think that's great, but I feel like if we did this, it would make more sense. Here's why. With me? Any questions? Okay. So pricing criteria. So some of the things we're looking at. Can someone read that section for me?
Getting the facts about pricing means evaluating the given property against other comparable properties. This means comparing your client's 20-year-old 3-bedroom 2-bath property and a of similarly built homes with homes that sold recently that match or come very close to matching the particulars of their home. The following factors come into play when looking for comparable properties: location, size, amenities, and condition.
Okay. So location, size, amenities, and conditions. So those are really the only factors that matter, right? And the two factors that will matter on why a property's selling or not selling, or excuse me, not selling, are what? Anybody want to take a shot at that? Location and condition. And price. Sorry, you're right. The price, but location and condition. Out of these four, but yes, price is one, right? Location, condition. So location. So for example, I had a property once. There's a property. This was in Broward. Great neighborhood. Like I would live there. You have like $2 million houses. Like, it's bike distance to the beach, right? And there was a row, right? And you had like rows that were like this with houses and houses. But this was kind of like not a main row, but it was pretty busy. Like, you know, like it had like a bike path, like a green bike path. There's, you know, great road. This was an intersection here, right? But all these houses, and some of these houses in this area, like you have houses here, like they hit like 2.5. Great area, right? This is just kind of like think about like a neighborhood street, houses. You know, houses. Like this, and there was even an important house here. So a lot long story short, the house that I was selling was like here, right? It was on the market for like 550 or 40 or something like that. Completely updated, super cute house, right? They put Bahama shutters, new appliances, new flooring, new AC. The whole house was like redone. Large lot, like the house actually set back, so it had like a nice driveway. And the house was actually back here, huge lot, no back meeting and so forth. However, right over here in this corner was a quickie mart. But it wasn't even a quickie mart. It was like called something else. And then you go in here, there's like, you know, they're selling like bombs and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's just like that's what it is. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like a quickie mart smoke shop, right? And so forth. So there was two people involved in this property. It was a flip. Very nice. It was a flip. And one of them, you know, one of them I knew very well. The other one I didn't know very well, right? But I got to know. And they listed it with somebody else. They was the listing. And then I go in and go see the house. The first thing I do, I tell the guy, you know, the guy that I knew, him and I think very like, I said, man, that store, right? I think it's gonna be a challenge. I said, yeah. The guy I know actually drove out to the property, right? He was part of the investment, he was one of the investors. He drove out, he went into the store, and he says, you know, it was like we both thought the same thing. The other guy, who was an investor, never even went out to the property. He's just like, yeah, comparables are this and da da da. We could get this amount of money. You know, I'm the money. I'm the orchestra. The guy I know is telling like, you're full of shit. Dude, you need to go out to this property. Because now we have this property and there's a store and that's an eyesore. Because you can see it. Like, you can see it when you walk on a house, you can see it, right? What's gonna happen there? 9 out of 10 people that called on this property or saw this property asked me, do I know what's up with that store? 9 out of 10. I'm not even exaggerating. Right? Oh, tell them they're building like an outdoor cafe and whatever. Is that true? Like, do you know if that's true? Like, I don't know if that's true. Right? So anyways, with that said, knowing what's going on, location, can't, you know, it's not always like, oh, it's Pinecrest. Right? Or, oh, it's Coral Gables. Or, oh, it's Kendall. Or, oh, it's Brickell, right? Right? What makes something more valuable in Brickell? Why do I want a condo in Brickell?
There's more traffic.
You,
People, oh, the view, the ocean view.
right? A condo facing the, you know, the bay with no obstruction, a lot more valuable than one that I'm facing somebody else's balcony, right? Why do I want that? Why do I want to spend $1 million on looking at somebody's balcony? Look at another rooftop for it. They're gonna build another building. Right? They have in Coral Gables, like so a condo, it's like on one side, you know, they used to have really nice views, but then they built like a whole new, you know, I think it's what's the other one? The one that just built.
Giantini?
Near Merritt Park. Super nice, right? Super nice building, really nice building. All those apartment owners that have been seeing the Sunset West for 10 years, 15 years, whatever. Now they all of a sudden have a new neighbor, right? Beautiful building, right? So those are the things you gotta like look at, right? Because somebody may not see that, right? Somebody may not, you know, a lot of times homeowners may not see that. Well, I lived there and I never had any problem with freight. Now there's a new buyer coming. I had a lady, she had a child with autism, and she kept calling me. She's like, I love the house. I'm just nervous with my son. That's what she kept telling me. She like 5 times we spoke. She wanted to put him off for the house. Eventually we sold, right? Eventually we sold. Somebody saw past that. Okay. So So, local market conditions, location, you know, I always tell, sellers of, buyers, the one thing you can never change is location. Can't change location. I can change tile, change walls, I can change paint. You change the prices. Right? Can't change location. Location, even in neighborhoods, is very, very, very important, right? So we just bought a house and we moved it into the Palmetto Bay area, right? And we actually were under contract on one property. It didn't go through because of the appraisal. We couldn't come to an agreement, right? And then we put another contract on another property. And we loved the location so much more. It's only a mile and a quarter away. However, now it's in walking distance to the bay and 4 beautiful parks that are on the bay, right? Bike trails, 3 houses back. The property in the corner, they're building a brand new house, $2.7 million. Right? Appraisal comes in obviously higher because of even that mile and a quarter. Now it's in a different part of Palmetto Bay. Right? I have friends that live in Palmetto Bay that live in very, you know, for some time. When I have a conversation with them, well, we run a contract with this property, so this is what happened. You know, talking to my friend. Oh, much better location. Oh, location. Yeah, location, location, location. Now, what's the difference? Yeah, I gotta go in and I gotta do some work to this house. Okay, but that's where you know, going back to talking to your buyers, right? I know we're not talking about buyers, but price itself is understanding that, hey, even at this price point, this property may turn out to be better just because of the location. I'm like, go in and put it, I'll put $100,000 in the house. It's okay. The house right behind, across from it, behind it, is under contract for $150,000 more than the before. Like, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Still, the location's not gonna change. Right? I can do what I want to the house. Okay? So, going back to pricing strategies and principles. Can someone read that, the top 2 sentences, I guess? Yeah, 2, 3 sentences.
It's very important to grasp the following 6 critical strategies that set the stage for using pricing criteria effectively. These strategies and standards you need to bear in mind as you approach pricing any property. With practice, you will absorb and internalize them. They will become part of you as a real estate agent and make you an outstanding advisor to both buyers and sellers.
Okay, so in this chart here, you know, it says there's very little point to winning listings if it doesn't sell, right? I told you about when we canceled. Now, in a very heavy seller's market, you talk about like, okay, seller's market, whatever, you know, imagine a trial, just make it up. This past, you know, 12 months, let's call it, right? It really kind of spiked. Right? I feel like it's just gonna kind of like settle, right? It's gonna come to something, right? But it really, really, really kind of, I feel like that peak kind of happened. Okay, and I think most people you talk to will say the same thing. You know, and so forth. It kind of really, really peaked. Come up here and do this, yeah, that may be another 3 years, 5 years, I don't know. I don't know how long, right? Like, yeah, I could do this, settle, do this. Eventually you could do that, right? But what's this, you know, and this goes like, you know, to a market of any stock market, right? Anything, gold, right? Here's what most people do, right? Most people, when it gets here, they start to get greedy, right? And then what happens is they want to they want to sell, but they want to start selling here. But the market's actually doing this, right? So pricing any market, you have knowing what the market is. You want to be kind of within the market, within the game. Say, listen, I think this is changing. I think we should be here. No, I want to be here. Time goes by, and you know, and property doesn't sell. Now it's like, well, the conversation just changed, and now it's here. Right? Oh no, but you told me here. Yeah, that was 2 months ago.
changing market.
ever-changing market, right? It's always changing, right? I know prices are gonna keep going up. I know somebody that they got, $50,000 of appraisal, yeah.
It's going up.
So, when you start seeing this happen, right? What happens? Now you're gonna start seeing inventory increase. See more and more people, and you see more and more inventory coming in because they're gonna, and then you may see price. Just like anything. So, was I bad if I sold here? Because I didn't get this? No. Well, Mr. Seller, this is the price that we feel based on the local market. Well, I thought, well, how are you gonna feel when it's down here? Oh, well, I want this, well, Mr. Seller, I probably could get you that, but it may be out here. Right, it may be sometime out. Right, going back to my customer Bob, right, this is the Amazon. So, well, it's a 2-bedroom complex, nothing, there's plenty out there,
Being extraordinary about it.
yeah, nothing extraordinary, it needs work, we're off. We probably should be in the 155 range, or at 165, 170, most of the 185, right? Oh, I probably could get you that over here. You're 91 years old, Bob.
How do you see that?
Yeah, I love you to death, but
Let's be realistic.
yeah, it's not gonna be important to you when you're 95.
Question, let's say Bob, what happens if he just doesn't want to understand that?
You have to come to a decision, right? You're running a business.
Right.
You're running a business. In our case, it's a Bob, thank you very much. But this is where we part ways.
Yeah, and that's what,
Thank you for the opportunity.
Monty, I was even Monty said yesterday, too, sometimes there's gonna be business that, whether you're new or not.
Yeah.
You gotta walk away from it.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, I'm desperate for it and then fall on your, that's how I feel. I totally agree with that. I don't wanna be, first I wanna look like I'm so desperate and then slip and fall on my face, so I'd rather deal with the truth, educate these clients about what the truth is and what to expect. And then see where we go from there. If they don't know, oh, yeah, and then you can't do it.
Right. This is where maybe we're on the purpose. Because now it's costing me time. And
It's not working for me.
it's not working.
That's
That's
all
not
I
gonna
know.
always happen, right? That's not gonna always happen. Sometimes, so we'll get into it like, so my rule of thumb is within 10%. Actually, it's probably more like 7%. But the rule of thumb is some people may say 10%. We're gonna create a range, right? So based on the market, I like to create a range. I told you this, right? I like to create a range. High. Okay, and in your chart on page 14, right? That's how I kind of say this. That's my way of translating that chart, right? If I'm in here, I'm in the market, right? If I'm here, I become in no man's land, right? Kind of where I'm out of range. So I like to create a range, okay? Any questions so far? Okay. Page 15. There's a great script there. Again, you could twist it, going back to your question about scripts. Can someone read that script for me, please?
Mr. and Mrs. Seller, some of the things you can control during the selling process are the condition of your property, the availability of your home for showings, and your position in the market. In the end, value is determined solely by what a buyer is willing to pay in today's market, based on comparing your home to others currently on the market for sale. I don't determine value, and neither do you. The market determines the value.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Good. So, anybody notice kind of like the tone of that script? Like, what's the message?
Market.
Yeah. Who determines the market?
Student?
Who determines the market? The market itself. And who's the market?
the buyers that are willing to pay, that's what determines the market.
Sorry, hang on 2 seconds. Okay, so, right, so the buyers, who's determining the market, who's making it go up, right? Who determines the market of a stock market, gold, oil, right? It's the buyer, right? Who's consuming it? Is that demand going higher? Is it going lower? Is it, which way is it going, right? So get into the mindset. You go into the mindset, what I mean with the seller is really getting the mindset. Victoria, I don't, just for you to understand, I don't determine that. Right? Who do you tell us? Well, 9 times out of 10, yeah, that's really the buyer. Making them understand that. Good. Okay, so we want to know what buyers are really looking at. And buyers, like consumers, just like you, Victoria, if you're going to buy a house, or you're looking, you're on Zillow or Realtor.com, telling you that all the time, right? And you're seeing what prices are going from there. You say something like that, 9 times out of 10, they are. Well, how do you know? You know, right? Yeah, you're on the app, right? You're seeing it. Same thing, Victoria, if you want to buy a new Honda Accord, right? You're kind of seeing what those Accords are going for, right? So another thing that is very powerful, maybe to use an analogy. You notice they have a Honda Accord in the driveway. You bought your Honda Accord, did you just kind of walk in and say, hey, this is what it is, and I paid for it? Or did you kind of browse on the internet, or, most people do these days, right? They'll go dealership to dealership, they'll browse on the internet, and then kind of go to a dealership. Internet said this, great, okay. So, does that sound familiar, Victoria? Yes. The same thing on home buying, right? And my job is to get as much traffic and attention on your property to bring you the best offer, or hopefully offers to sell your home. So you could have the decision of what's going to work best for you. Is that helpful? See? That's good. That's it. I'm here to help you. I'm here to interpret the word, right?
Say it so easy.
Because you know what?
You've been doing it for so
No, but you know
long.
what? Here's one of the things, right? And this is always, it's like a commission conversation. And I noticed it, right? When I tried to share my experiences from when I first got into real estate. When I got first in real estate, I noticed it, and I noticed it teaching classes, how do I convince somebody to do this? How do I convince somebody to pay me 6% commission? Right? I shouldn't have to convince you. Right? My commission conversation is like this minimal. If I'm sitting down in front of you in a meeting, it's like this much. Like, sometimes it doesn't even come up. If I don't listen to appointments with Michelle, like, showing her, same thing with Luz, right? Oh, we'll look at this. Great, okay, awesome, let's get started. Oh, by the way, what's your commission? 6%. That's it. 9 times out of 10. Do I get commission pushback? Sure. Well, what's important to your commission? But they're already hired. You're already sitting there, right? And sometimes it may not be the right decision to say, I've done to listen to appointments where I'm like, yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna sell. That's just me. Like, I'm not saying, but that's just me. Like, this is gonna be a tough set. Like, we walked on the children. Oh God, we didn't get this one. Yeah, I don't know if that will come. It's just gonna be tough. They don't know what the fuck. They don't know what they're doing. Like, they don't know if they're moving. They don't know if they're coming. They're going, buying, selling, renting, going to space. They just don't know what they're doing. Like, it goes back to motivation. I like to work with ready, willing, able customers with a clear direction that we're going to and what's my goal. I rather work with, 5 of those or 10 of those at a time than work with 20. Yeah, I rather work with 20 that are, and somebody may tell you different. But, no, I'd rather have 20 pieces of business. I'd rather have 50 listings. But not me.
I called this Facebook this morning and she was like, yeah, we're not working with an agent because we want the usual, we want to get the most profit.
Sure.
And then she was like, yeah, and we're motivated, but we don't care if it doesn't sell, we're just gonna rent it.
You're motivated, you're not motivated, right? It's great. So where are you living now? Are you living in the property?
No.
No. You live somewhere else? So the house is vacant, so it's been an investment property?
And yeah, that's the question.
Is it rented now? It's not rented now? So if you don't sell it at this price, you think renting is gonna be your best option? Have you rented it before?
When do you do the phone script session? When does it go?
I'm just having a conversation, I just wanna know. I think rental market's great. How much were you renting it for before? Oh, that's good. Man, you know what, you're right. That's great rental. income. Terrific, I think the rental income properties are always a win, right? You know, that management and so forth, By the way, we actually get our landlords, the highest amount too. Help you maybe with, that send you some rental comps, show you what the rental, that may be a good option. The price, your pricing is a little, your pricing, if it hasn't sold yet, right? In this market, you may want to reevaluate,
Yeah.
what you're, well, not even to say pricing, reevaluate how you're selling the property, or maybe it is a good decision. Can I send you some rental comps to show you, some rental information? Build that relationship. I remember saying Pedro was working on this thing for like 4 years, right? Sure. Evaluate, right? That's it. You're just kind of evaluate the situation, getting to know a little bit more about what's going on in this scenario. How can hopefully you will get the opportunity to help them. Or maybe not. But at least you build a relationship.
I'll call back.
Yeah.
Take care.
Hey, did you ever find a tenant? Did you get the rental comps I sent you? That's what I'm gonna do the first time I order it. Send them an email, send some information. Hey, did you get the information? Was it helpful? I don't have your email address. I know the guy for 20 years. And I had him in command, but I never was able to get his email address, but I have him in command. I have his birthday on Facebook. So this is part 2, right? In session 2. I have he gets birthday cards. I have his address. He gets holiday cards. I never had the opportunity to get an email. I'm gonna send you some information. Hopefully it's helpful. Some more information. He's gonna find value in it. He may be stuck on, I don't wanna pay commission. He told me, he said, somebody offered him to do it for 3%. They were gonna do pictures, and we were gonna do an open house, and they were gonna do a contract for,
3%.
and that's fine. Great, how are they gonna negotiate the property? Just negotiated their commission by 50%.
So they're gonna do 50, that's
I
not
mean,
work.
and Charlie, by all means, I can't do it. He was an extermination company. Charlie, that's like me asking if you may get my house and can you do it for $50. You know, $50, Charlie. I'm sure your materials, your chemicals cost more than that. I know the great job you do. You gotta, with time and having a family, you're building up a value, right? What's your value proposition, right? You gotta set your boundaries, right? In the sense of what will you do and not do. And there's nothing wrong with you taking a lower commission. I offered a lower commission. But there comes a limit, right? Where I say, well, I don't know if I want to do this for 3%. I got, price high, 3%. I don't know if that makes sense for you right now. I don't know. My marketing is going to be over $1,000. I don't know if that makes sense. I have to, evaluate that, right? And I know where my value is, right? What's my value proposition, right? There's an agent in the Doral office that I know very well, and him and I had this conversation, and he was talking to me about a listing. Oh, it's listing. Wow, I'm like, paying. And he did a limited listing service, right? Long story short, his commission 1%. 1%. Well, why'd you do that? Like, why? Explain that to me. oh, 1% better than nothing, and wouldn't you do it? And I'm not doing anything, the owner's showing the property, like, like, whatever the case may be, right?
So what do you do?
So, well, he puts it on the MLS, and takes the pictures, and he puts it on the MLS, and he negotiates, and he handles the contract. The showings, the seller does the showing, right? So, well, if that's how you want to run your business, right? For me, I don't want to run my business like that. Because I think there's a value to me showing the property opposed to the seller. And the seller should know that and understand that, right? We just sold our own house, and shit, that was tough. Like, that was tough. When it's your own house and it's your own property, and you say things and you ask questions and to yourself and out loud, and you're not in
The best state
the
of.
best state of mind. You're just not to make the right decisions. In a lot of cases, Vladimir sold his house. He didn't sell it. He had his son sell it.
Because you're selling your home, you're not selling your house.
You're selling your home, right? If a buyer comes in and says, "Oh, I don't like the color of the walls," you get upset.
Yeah, you have emotional attachment to that.
A buyer came in and said something about the kitchen, and, it bothered Michelle.
Oh.
Like,
But that's not.
I don't want them to buy it because, I don't want them to buy it because they're gonna do this. Like, it's natural. It happens. It's natural. And that's the conversation. Listen, I promise you, I'm gonna be able to show your property and sell it and get you better results without you around. Tell me about the house. Don't worry. I'm gonna mention things you probably not gonna even think about mentioning. Right? So, again, for me, it's not, to list a property at 1%, it doesn't, I don't know if it's something I want to do. Like, I don't want to get, because the thing is too, is this, right? A transaction, I want to translate this to a seller, it's not just a listing of the property. Once we get under contract, that's when the real work begins. And now it becomes a bigger headache, right? And twice as much work, and now it's at 1%. There's a cost with that.
That you're gonna absorb.
That you're gonna absorb. You can't sit there and say, the commission is $7,000. You can't look at it like that. You have to look at, commission is about $7,000, right? Great, what's my cost basis? Are you truly profitable or not? Going back to running a business, right? Going back to the Bob,
Mindset
yeah, going
that
back
we
to.
need to get into. I'm sorry to interrupt
Yeah,
that,
no, no.
but that's something, working for someone, you don't think about all those things. You have to get into that mindset of yourself. Is this conducive for me? Is this gonna lead me to more sales? Is this worth my time?
Right, yeah, because even though it's 7% commission, let's just say at 1%, right? Let's say it's $7,000, right? However, is it gonna run into where it's gonna cost me more than $7,000? Well, how's it gonna cost me $7,000? Well, my time. For what? My marketing, right? Life. Like, are these things gonna cost me more than $7,000? Gas, whatever it may be. It starts adding up. Going back to Bob's, why did we cancel it? Now it's not making sense. Because Luz is going there, she's showing it, and every time she goes there, it's taking time from her family, it's taking time that she could be focusing on other business.
You know what I'm not thinking?
Right? So you gotta think about that. Is it becoming now a loss? This is where you go, like, command is actually gonna eventually get there where it's gonna show you profit and loss, like, and I talk about profit and loss and operating on profit and loss, where are you really profitable? Are you profitable in your business? Right? If you're making $7,000 in commission, but you also are spending tons of money in marketing, doing mail outs with no results, right? The bus stop is maybe there's no results, right? You haven't got that level, right? You have to build up an expense account where you say, okay, this is something to allocate to that, right? If you're coming into a business, you're spending all this money. I know an agent. She lives across the street from me now. Before, right? She was in his office. And I kept telling her, get the business and close some transactions first. She was spending like $300 in Facebook ads a month. Went out and got a brand new license. Right? I know, I need a new car, blah, blah, blah. She got an office space. Right, which, whatever, the office space, I don't know, $150, whatever it is, right? $20. Why are you doing all this? No, because it's, she thinks she's Amazon. Everybody know Amazon? You know, Amazon didn't start making money till like a year ago, 2 years ago. Before that, they were actually losing money. But their pockets were so deep from investors, right? We're not that. We don't have that, right? And that's how she thought. No. The first 2 years in a business is always a loss. 2 or 3 years is always a loss. That's the old school mentality. That's the old school mentality. You talk to anybody that's opened a business, like that's the rule of thumb. Oh, when you open a restaurant, the first 2 or 3 years is a loss. And yes, there's truth to that. But not in real estate, guys. Real estate is one of the few things that it costs you very little to get your license, right? You spent $2,000.
Is that?
If that.
I
If that.
took all my classes online.
4,000. Really? I just spent-
Okay,
2,000.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, you probably spent about 2,000, 2,500, 1,500, whatever. Huh?
I paid $80 for my course.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you pay, okay, so you pay $80, plus you have to get your license, how much? Fingerprints?
$36.
Okay.
Let's say, yeah,
$1,000.
right, with
$1,500.
MLS and all.
$2,000, whatever, right? MLS, yes. MLS,
That's where you-
700, right?
The MLS.
Okay, but you invested $2,000. Plus minus. You're a nurse? How much was you spent in your education in nursing? And don't tell me, oh, I got financial aid and stuff. How much,
You want me to tell my financial aid?
how much did you spend in nursing for?
70,000. In loans,
What's the salary of a nurse?
about 35 an hour. So like 80
Maybe,
a year.
The American scam. I mean, the American dream.
listen, nothing wrong with it,
They
nothing wrong. with it.
educate you to go to school to then get these loans. They educate you on how the importance of protecting your credit
the
for
way-
the loan. You
the
don't
way
pay those
it's
loans,
used-
your whole life goes off track. You don't have a mortgage, you can't buy this, it's the American
Okay.
scam.
Let me stop you here.
But hang on, let's stick on the real estate.
Let's stick to the rules.
Because I worked in a hospital and I admire nurses. Right, I
Don't
admire
get me
nurses,
wrong,
right?
yes, I admire
And
them.
there's some great nurses, and I know if the nurses will become doctors or nurse practitioners, right? And and by all means, that's not my point. Right, same thing with attorneys that go to law school. My daughter wants to be a vet. Right, with the large animals, right? I know it's costing me money, guys, now. So I get it. There's professions that it is required, and that's the course of do what you love to do. My point being is very little expense to start a real estate career, right? It's one of the few careers that you could actually make a phone call for free. Or not. Go visit a business for free, right? You don't want to spend going buying a new car. Tell me nobody did that, please.
No.
Bought a new car?
No.
Okay. Easy way to- Right? Guys, I drove a Jetta with no AC for 2 years. And I was making 80 grand a year. But I stuck it out, till I got to a point where I really wanted to be, right? So I'm making 100 plus a year. 200 plus a year. Okay? Then I say, let me go get the Jeep I want.
Then you get the luxury.
Now, guess who pays for the Jeep? My business. The business pays for my Jeep, as a profit and loss. You guys are gonna get to that later on, right? You build it. But I never looked at a part of it. I had an agent from RESF, who used to work at Baptist, and she says, hey, let me ask you a question. What's the payments on the Jeeps? How's the gas? How's this and that? And you know what my response was? Do you do a profit and loss?
It's a nurse.
No, she was a real estate. She used to work at Baptist, and she got into real estate too, right? So do you do a profit? Jason, I've only been in it for 3.5 years, and I'm thinking in my head, why are you saying only 3.5 years? Like I've only been 4.5 years. You know, and nobody taught me about that. Well, thankfully, that's the first thing I learned. Okay, Nobody taught me about that. I said, well, operate your business like a business. And the card payment should be nothing. Right? The card payment is like at least like $12 or something like that, right? I don't look at it. That's not my focus. My focus is on my business. My business pays for it. Make sense? Right? But you have to get to that point. So you don't want to go in there spending money on a new car. It's very inexpensive to build get a real estate career started. What a lot of people do is they get into real estate, they make a couple of commission checks, they start buying the Gucci bag, start buying the Lexus and so forth. They start spending heavy money on marketing and so forth, right? So going back to, is it worth keep holding the listed or not? I need to know if it makes sense and it becomes a loss to me, right? I need to know that. Am I overexpending on this property? Like I've seen some properties like heavily marketed and it's like people say, oh, I want to sell $5 million homes. You know what the marketing budget is on a $5 million home? It's like 10 grand. 5 grand, 10 grand at least. Minimum. Maybe even more. If we do videos, our videos cost us $350. I know a guy that does this element, they do like $5 to $10 million houses. That I know you bring like 2 transactions together, a smaller, like $300,000, $400,000 deals, and he does like $5 million, $10 million houses. Your videos are off the chain. Like people say, my videos are like, I'm like, your videos, they're like, what, you only spend on them? You might need like thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at that, right? If someone comes down here and goes, hey, I'm gonna use my house $5 million, can I even do that?
You don't really think about that right off the bat.
Right. Oh, shoot, I can make this much commission. What if the house never sells? What if the house never sells? I just spent $5,000 in marketing costs, right? To evaluate that. Should I partner this up? Should I, am I ready to do that? Do I have the expenditure to do that, right? Make sense? Okay. So back, so I don't determine the market does, does this make sense? Great question. Does this make sense to you, Victoria? I don't determine the market, understanding the window of opportunity. So this is actually a chart I do have in my listing presentation. I like it a lot. And I tell sellers, Victoria, so what this shows here is that in our first 2 weeks, that's really going to tell us if we price it right, if we're, the activity, we should have an offer at least that within those first 2 weeks. In this market, we should have an offer within the first week. Or this market, we should have an offer in the first few days. It's a little different, but this standard chart, first 2 weeks. If we don't have activity within the first 2 weeks, we need to switch it up. We need to come up with a new, right? The house we bought, they originally listed at 800,000. And we saw it online, it's high. It's a little high. And sure enough, like 2 weeks later, they dropped it to 775. And the agents I met, I met the agents, very experienced, you've been in the business for 20 years, stuff like that. If 2 weeks later, 775. Great. Now I want to go see it. Okay. Now I want to go see it. Now I'm putting my first 750. Right? Make sense? So that first 2 weeks is our window of opportunity. And I'm 99% sure I never really asked because I don't want to, I don't want to kind of be rude. And this is what I told Michelle, that they probably were not getting showings at 800 or very little. Because when I was at 775 and I called and to schedule an appointment, she said, oh, it's a very popular, like they're getting a lot of showings now. We're very popular. Yeah. Now you're probably getting showings and it's higher than before. It makes sense. And when I went to see the property and kind of like get the sense of what's going on, like, yeah, they have no offers. I'm gonna come at 750. Let's see how that goes, right? Cool, right? So explaining that to your customers, this is a very important fact. They say, I'm not in a rush, right? How many offers have you received and how long has it been in the market? Zillow, for sale by oh, I see it's been on the market for 2 weeks. How many offers did you get? None. Oh, I see. See that? There- oh. No,
How do you say it again? It's just the way you said it. Oh, I see. It's so loaded,
It's
like,
pain versus pleasure,
yeah.
right? I'm having a conversation. I'm not trying to insult you and say it's too high. I don't like to say that over the phone. I didn't tell this guy that this for sale by owner is priced too high. I think he's 100 grand. But I didn't tell him that. But when he told me, what do you list at? Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Tell me how many square feet is the house? Oh, okay. And what are you getting? Phone calls from agents, aren't you? Yeah, that's all. Okay. Right? So like I'm having this conversation where it's like, where are you at?
But you're
right?
not saying that.
Yeah, but what you're not saying, right? Okay, let's see where we at. Well, this is kind of what we do. This is what our strategy. Guys, if you and Rosa want to meet, love to meet, you could go into it in a little more detail on a phone conversation, but this is kind of like what we do. That's it. So going back to your seller, the for sale by owner, how many offers do you have? Oh, I've had 3 offers. What? Okay, are you ready to go into contract with one of them?
Satisfied?
Are you ready to go in? Yeah. Are you ready to go into contract with one of them? No, not really, not what I want. Well, what is it that you want? What would make that one of those contracts work for you? If I could help you get that, would that be helpful to you? All you're doing is kind of like conversations and scripting is very follow the currents, right? I like to think of it as like dating. I know some of us may have not dated in a very long time, or even your spouse, your partner, right? How do you get what you want? How do you get to your destination? Right? Nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down. You kind of have to do this, right? Okay. There's going to be some answers that you may not like or agree with. That's okay. But how do I get to that destination, right? Like, Victoria, what do you want to do? Victoria's probably saying, oh, it's up to you.
Oh gosh, are you in my mouth?
Yeah. Are you up to? It's up to you. Oh. How about this pizza place? No, no pizza. What do you eat yesterday? Oh, I had a Cuban. Want to go through it again? Right. I'm just trying to navigate to get to where they want, right? Oh, I see you're looking at a bird on Instagram. Oh, you want a bird? Like sometimes people don't say things, right? Right? A patient. One of the things when I use these customer service class as a Baptist, because if someone's going like this, don't think it's the arm only. Oh, is your arm hurting you? Hey, what's going on? How's your day been? If you want to open up, and then before you know it, it's like the chest,
Yeah.
right? So it's just having that conversation of really trying to get to where they're going to. And listen, sometimes they may just shut you out completely. I don't want to talk to you. I know you sound very, very busy. Is it okay if I reach out to you in a month or a week, whatever?
Is there a better time where I can be?
Yeah, a better time, cut it short, It works. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Don't get mad when it doesn't work. Don't ever think of things as defeats, right? In business, there's no defeat, right? There's a great video by Simon Sinek called The Infinite Race. Okay? The Infinite Race compares Apple to Samsung. Right? Samsung is constantly building a phone, and their marketing gimmick is it's better than the iPhone. And they're trying to beat the iPhone. Where Apple is, we're building a great ecosystem, great product, and so forth. Hey, but Samsung says they're better, they have a better phone out than you. That's amazing. Congratulations. Because the infinite race, Apple understands there may be times they may not have the best product. That's okay. They're not trying to build the best product for now. For today, they're trying to build the best product over time for longevity, knowing that there's no end. right?
Long term.
Long term. Where Samsung says, hey, I beat you,
Short term.
right? Kenyan runners are the best runners because they practice together. And they understand this may be my time to shine, or maybe Victoria's time to, to be the best runner of the New York Marathon. And we're gonna work together to represent Kenya, right? Or in, let's say, America, or many other countries, it's like, I'm here to beat Victoria. I'm the best American runner. I'm fastest, right? Makes sense? So if you ever watch like the Nike when they beat the sub, the sub 2 hour marathon, what that means is the first time ever that a marathon was ran under 2 hours. There was a group of Kenyans mostly, right? And there were some other runners from other countries, but then it's constantly evolving. All the runners were kind of rotating. There's runners that rotated in and out, and there was a main group. And the runners that came in and out were there to be pacers, support bringing a faster pace, right? Now there's fresh legs, right? And that main group of runners that were, which one is going to be the one to break it, was like 5 runners, right? And it was kind of narrowed down to, it's probably going to be this one run, right? Like this is the main guy because we feel he has the most likelihood, the chances, whatever. So those 5 runners become pushing for those runs. Make sense? So, okay, I know I got a little bit off topic there, but going back to price, so price and to sell, this is one chart very, that's really good, right? Page 18, price to reflect the market movement, right? The market direction. So whether the market is appreciating or depreciating, market speed of change, how quickly prices are changing, and what are the rate of the change is, right? So right now, even though the past few months, I think last year, it was like an average of 7% increase last year, right? Where normally it's something like 3% in a year. So it was more than double last year, right? Some months, you may see reports that come out and say, well, prices increased 7% in that month. That's very different than saying the whole year. Right? 7% in a year, in a month is not as much dollar-wise as it is in a whole year, right? Because it's increments, right? So prices continuing to go at that rate. Right now, no. I think we're seeing prices to kind of stabilize, and you're probably seeing more price correction, right? I don't know if you guys noticed that. You're seeing more price reduction because sellers started doing this. Yes? Okay. So don't chase the market, price ahead of it. This works in every market. This is a very, going back to the range, I want to say this is what today's market showed. I want to make sure that I'm in it. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm in the market, and this is the range we want to be in. This could change. That's why I like this. Okay. Rising market. So in a rising market, which we just kind of are in, or maybe even possibly getting out of, right? Right? How much more is it rising? Is it going to rise at a slower pace, or is it going to stop rising? Who knows, right? Matter of fact, my barber, that's the conversation. He says, yeah, I read something where the pace is going to slow down, right? The pace is going to slow down. And typically that's standard, right? Like things don't go to this, right? It'll slow down and then maybe stable off, and then who knows from there, right? And we're seeing that. We're seeing more of a stable. So this other chart, which is another great chart, it shows the average home price and it shows time on market, right? The longevity that it goes back on the market. So you could use it like this, use the chart that was on the previous page to kind of interpret that. Declining market. Can someone read page 17 at the top? Hey, Robert.
When prices are falling, sellers will keep the prices too high, hoping to check off they want, and thinking they will drop the price later if that strategy doesn't work. The reality is that most sellers who do this never correct enough to keep up with the price reality. Sellers who price right will get the buyers while the listing that's chasing the market down will take longer to sell.
Yeah, so, and going back to my, and this is why I thought about this, right? When he calls me to say my first time by order, right? When Charlie calls me, and he says, you know, hey, well, I need to sell it, but I'm also not in a rush. I don't need the money. Yeah, well, how are you gonna feel when something happens and, you know, this happens, and now you're like, well, shoot, if I would have just did this, now I gotta do this, or now you're gonna keep looking at that, right? There's a range that makes sense. And then you start chasing the market down. And you sell it here, and then before you know it, oh, shoot, look, it dropped, okay, maybe but guess what, you would now 2 years, or a year, or 6 months, whatever that time frame is, now you're actually higher, right? So pricing to sell, again, works in every market. It boils down to what? Motivation. Right? Charlie's telling me he needs to unload it because he wants to retire, but he doesn't really get the money. Is the motivation really high? I think it's warm.
I was gonna say, I think he doesn't wanna give away.
Yeah,
where
that's
he's
the thing. I
at
want
to
to give
you.
away, but it's like, well, if you keep playing the game you're playing, you're probably gonna give away a whole lot more without realizing it. So
He's playing coy.
yeah, I think he's warm. But it goes back into the mindset of truly understanding and having your seller understand what this market is, right, and what it was, or what it may be, right? All right. Don't be afraid to be professionally honest. Pricing right is hard, but it's worth it because it gets your sellers to their goals and you make money for your business, okay? Now, professionally honest and being blunt and telling it how it is are different things. I had an agent once I was teaching a class. He was bragging. He was an agent for some time. He was bragging on how he called a seller because he told the seller that it was going to be this price. The seller said X price, and the seller went and listed to someone else and sold at the price that he said. And that he literally reached out to the seller and said, "I told you so." Something along those lines. Okay, so again, I don't like to tell sellers, hey, and I tell them this straight up, listen, Victoria, I'm not here to tell you what your house is going to sell for. What I like to do is create a range that we attract the attention and let the market determine the price, right? Let them tell us something. At the end, that's what it's going to be. We can list a house for $1. We may have a line from here to Broward, but it's not going to sell for $1. It's going to sell based on the current market value. I don't know. Is it up 5, 10,000, 15, 50,000, whatever, depending on the price point? I can't. There's no. You and I can't. Right? Good. Okay. So a lot of the times you'll speak with people and say, "Oh no, this is what it is." "Oh no, I'm telling you, this is what it is." And I learned not to do that. I learned not to do it. This is the price range. This is what it is. Because sometimes I've had sellers where they've gone a little bit higher than, you know, and they're right. And going back to this example, like that agent that said that, maybe he should have taken that listing at the price the seller wanted. Someone, Nico from Naples, if you guys done a class with me, comes to this class, he was telling me about an agent. Actually, I think one of the agents in his office, and we told this appointment. He told the seller like he felt like 950, told 950, right? The seller says 1.1. Can't do it. Can't do it. The house is good. So you gotta determine a place where you feel comfortable. Great. Okay, let's try the 1.1. Let's see what the activity does. I showed you the first 2 weeks are most important. If we don't reach there, then we're gonna have another conversation. Sure. Okay, great. Let's try it. At least now, if it sells, I'm gonna try it. Listen, I want to get you that 1.1. So let's try it. Let's do that.
The seller knows, at least you tried.
At least we tried. Hey, I'm trying to get you that 1.1. I'm not getting the showings. That attention's not there. going back to it, right?
Let's revisit this price.
Let's recover the conversation. So there's still an opportunity for me to kind of change that, right? But if it gets to a point where it's just like, okay. And buys, I had an agent once, a seller once that I actually, there was the one that I did cancel. He tells me, oh, you talked all this game when you came. I'm like, excuse me? Like, yeah, like basically, how come I haven't sold this? I can't show it. Every time I try and show it, I gotta call your girlfriend because you don't have a phone. And when I finally get a hold of you, you tell me you were up all night watching the Argentinian soccer game. Like, and then can I change the appointment from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon? And the buyer doesn't want to come at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they want to come at 12.
They're not working.
Yeah, like,
And you gotta
he got
honestly
pretty
tell
like,
them that.
yeah, he got pretty like, smart ass with me where it was like, well, I was thinking, listen. This is not going very far. Like, I can't show the property. The guy didn't even have a cell phone. It was his girlfriend's cell phone. Like, that one, he didn't want to give it to me. I don't know what it was. Like, I had to kind of like pick and say what's home. Like, it was, yeah, super weird. It was super weird. And I'm sure he sold it eventually, but that's okay. Like, I'm not trying to, I'm trying to build a business. The time I'm
Yeah,
spending
it's
on
not
that.
video.
All right. So market conditions, property conditions, features, amenities, locations, buyer agent feedback is very important. I'm a strong believer that agents are your customers as well. Okay. You never know when that buyer's agent is, going to have a listing or maybe be a buyer's agent. Like I told you, Luis Dominguez, I've done 2 properties. One, he was the listing and one I was the listing agent. When he sent me an offer, I was like, okay, I know how this guy works. Like, no issues, no problems. Like, it works, right? All right. There's a couple more scripts. I want to you guys can read that on your own. I want to just to wrap it up and go into the CMA and kind of some of the things that I like to do. Let's see. All right. And that should wrap it up. Okay. So the next 30 minutes, we'll go into the CMA. Any questions so far? Okay. So a CMA, comparative market analysis, I wouldn't use with the customer, say CMA, because then I don't know what CMA is. You can say, price evaluation, home evaluation, comparative market analysis, something they really want to understand. So there's 2 classes that everybody should take. I almost think they're required with the board, even though I don't think they enforce it, is Matrix 101 and 202. There's a 101 and 202. You could do it in person, I think now already, or if not, I think they even have it on YouTube or online and so forth. Matrix 101 and 202. I'm not going to teach you how to use Matrix or the MLS here. I'm just going to show you on how I'm getting to price strategy. Okay, so going to my range, high, low, let's say high is 400,000, right? That's not working. And low is like 360, right? Like maybe my lowest sell in the area is 360. And my highest is 400, right? I haven't been in the property in most cases. I haven't been in it yet. Again, why I'm making a range, because if I go in the property, maybe that 360, the property needs a whole lot of work, doesn't have a floor, anything like that. So if I go in this property, needs a whole lot of work, I could evaluate it. 400, maybe a property that's really updated. I'm looking at these properties online to kind of evaluate, and I'm bringing some comparables to support my direction, my pricing. I'm trying to tell a story. This is what the market is telling me, and this is why I feel this is the range. Right? Middle of the range would obviously be for 380. Right? Where are we going to be? And that's how I'm going into a listing presentation. That range can narrow. Maybe it's 380 to 340. Right? Maybe it's change. Just giving like round numbers an example, right? So I'm searching the comparables. I'm looking to see what are the closed sales, again, to translate that and support that. Remember, your seller is looking online in Zillow, whatever, and you're kind of, great, how did you come up with that number? Okay. I like to start off my conversation when it comes to price. Again, 90% of my conversation is about them, where are they going, what's their motivation, where are they going? Great, terrific. So when we sell it, so I know you probably have looked online, Victoria, have you thought about a price to sell your house at? Yeah, I was wanting 420, but I realized that's not realistic. I'm thinking more 400. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's look at what we're. What does that tell me? Tells me where Victoria's mind is. Oh, I actually was thinking like 380, 390. Terrific. I know what Victoria's mind is, right? I'm in my range. Now my conversation just went from, 5% to like 1%. Right? Let me show the comparables. Let's look at it, range. Well, Victoria, I thought this was the range 360 to 400. I think I could do 380, 390. That's actually right in the target. I think that'd be great and allow us to give us possibly get some really competitive offers. Let's go look. Right? Oh, I was thinking 450. Okay. So how did you come up with that? I can wait. Whoa, my neighbor's, I know it's 2 bedrooms bigger, it's this, that, whatever the case may be. Great, let's look at the comparables. What was it actually? Maybe I'm missing out. Okay, I'm just kind of navigating. I'm not telling you, oh, you're crazy. Right? I'm not saying anything like that.
You're acknowledging.
I'm acknowledging, like, wait, how do we kind of get with it? How do we get to that, right? Okay. Has this been helpful? Good. All right. So this is matrix. Now, I do CMAs 2 different ways. And there's a few other ways that you may hear of. One is RPR.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally don't like RPR. It doesn't work for me. I stick with what works with me. So the first thing I do is I go on IMAP. And the second thing I will do is then I'll go on Matrix on the MLS. Okay. So again, I'm not necessarily showing you how to use these platforms, in detail, but just kind of how I come up to a pricing strategy. So I like to search for the property and get the data from the property. Give me an address. Does anybody have an address you guys want to? Okay.
21321.
Is this a single family home?
Yes. Northeast 13.
This is an old house, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. That may be a little bit more challenging because you're probably going to have variances in style and newer houses, right? Northeast, yeah. So they're either like really new houses, old houses, and when I say like variance for class purposes, I mean, I'm going to do my best to kind of with time to help, get the point across. However, Northeast, you have, it's just an older part of Miami, right? Like it's just been around longer. So you have a lot more variance in houses, right? Okay, so, but no worries. Great. So I pull it up. Here's the property. I want to know about so lot size, 7,700 square feet, single family, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Is it true?
3 bedrooms.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Okay, and that's the other thing too. So this house was built when 1956. So in the 50s and earlier, like your house is built 30s, 40s, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath was very common. Okay, families were very small. Different timeline. 60s, families started, growing a little bit more common when you saw your 3, 4 bedrooms, and so on, right? You probably didn't even see like 5 bedrooms very common until like, later on, right? Didn't mean that they don't exist at this, in this, what is it, 1950s. I'm sure there's 5 bedroom houses, but that was considered a mansion. right? Those are considered very big houses, right? But your common working class house, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. And I'm speaking about South Florida. I don't know about different areas, but you could kind of, man, who uses a 2 bedroom, 1 bath? It was common, and you could usually tell by the architecture of the house, right?
Yes.
The other thing I would do too is sometimes I Google, the property. Keep in mind that maybe an old image, just to kind of get an idea of what the house looks like. All right, living space, 1,232 square feet. Did they add to that?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna go by that, 1,200 to, 2,200 and change square feet, 1 bedroom, 7,700 square foot lot. Terrific. I usually will save this because I want this anyways, or print it and take it with me just in case, right? Because maybe when I get there, that's when I find out, oh, the tax roll shows 2-1 and it's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Oh yeah, we did this and we did that. Okay, terrific. Now I know. Okay. Now, here on the right, I'm sorry,
Does that affect your sale?
an extra bedroom, sure. Extra bedroom will give me about $5,000.
No, what I mean is in your,
10,000.
in your, in the title or whatever, during the sale process.
Depends. Depends, was an illegal addition done or is it just a reconfiguration of inside? Sometimes people just reconfigure the inside of a house. Okay, so right here on the right-hand side, there's an option right underneath the main one, property tax, it's find comparables. Okay, so you could do this now, or you could do the MLS and then do this. Why do I do this? Because I want to have 2 different sources to make sure that my range and value,
Yeah, it's not like where
I'm in the right place and that I'm not missing anything. The other thing too is through Matrix, and doing this way, I'm gonna also possibly see properties that were not listed in the MLS, right? And that's sold, and I can say, okay, why am I doing this? Because I also want to make sure that if our appraisal situation comes up, right, I have my comps. I go to all my appraisals. I hear discrepancies on that about it. I go to all my appraisals, I do bring comps, because at the end of the day, I want to tell my story. And I tell myself that. With appraisals, remember, we have to go through the appraisal process. So what I'm bringing you now, and with this conversation we're having, is I have to basically like one court. I have to go present my case to the appraiser and say, hey, this is great. This is how we came up to the number. I'm sure they're gonna do their own appraisal, but at least that the fact I gave them what we're looking at, and hopefully it works. 9 times out of 10, it works, right? Sometimes it just doesn't, right? It's just off, right? Okay, so finding comparables, red house is my house. There's definitely plenty of comparables. I like to go as close as possible. So I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do it on a condo, but if you're talking about a condo, a building in Brickell, I want to focus on that building first. And that should be sufficient enough. For me, I'm looking for 3 closed sales. Okay, I don't need 5 closed sales. I don't need 10 closed sales. I don't need that many. If I have 5, great, terrific. Maybe I'm gonna bring them, maybe not, but I'm really focused at least 3 closed sales to support my case. And I say at least 3 because sometimes I may not be able to find 5. Right? Sometimes I may not be able to find 3. And is it 2? Great, this is what I have to go with. Maybe, maybe there's, for some reason, there's not sales in that building, right? Because the association or the case, it becomes tougher. So with that said, I am now going to go ahead. I'll do it this way where I'll show you how to do it through Matrix. There's options here and fields that you want to update criteria. So even though it's given me 9 close comparables, these are all located within a mile. I like to go in as close as possible, so I'm going to update that to half a mile. Now it brings me down to 7. Okay. The other thing that I may choose to do is do live-in area. In most cases, appraisals would not go beyond 10%. Okay. So I click the 10%. Now I'm within a half a mile. I could go ahead and change the lot size. And what you may notice is that as I did that, this range changed.
Yep.
Right? You notice that it's becoming closer and tighter. Okay. So if I left this right here, I have 5 comparables with a range of 284 to 315. 284 to 315.
And most are 3 bedroom.
And most are 3 bedrooms. Good. I'm not even looking at the comparables. I can guess that you are. And that's great. But you guys get where I'm getting? The direction I want to kind of get. So 284 to 350. Right, 284 to 350. That's my range. Right? Pretty tight range. Pretty good. Sometimes that range could be 20,000. Right? Sometimes that range could be really wide. Maybe it's 50,000. And this price point that's really wide, and you have to kind of adjust it a little bit more. But I'm okay right now.
See this?
Right there in the top. Right here. So one is based on the value ratio and one is based on the square footage. Okay, now let's look at the comparables. 265 to 328, 318, 315, 286. Okay, why is this 265 so low? I may want to dig into that, right?
Oh, why did you tell me this a lot? Where are we?
Well, no, well, here. So these 4, right? This is really low. 280, 265. Okay, so that's really, so that seems really low. Something's going on there, right? Because if I go here, this is 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. This is 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 328,
Right, so something's definitely wrong.
right? Something's going on there. Was that a foreclosure? Was it a short sale? I'll go look at that later, right? Now, 318, 315, 286. Okay, these are all 3 ones. These are all about 1,200 square feet, built in the same year, right? Then there's one here at 286. Same thing, 3.2, 1,200 square feet. And this one even has a garage,
Oh,
okay? So why is it 286 and the other ones are, like, this is a great range, right? 315 to 328. Pretty self-explanatory, right? How many were in that range? I'm good. Yes? Unless the house is really poor condition, and is that what this is, right? I need to look at it. I can't answer. Let's just hypothetically say that 286 is in poor condition. The property we go see is in decent condition, good condition, and probably looks like this. So now my range just got tighter, right? And let's say I say 310, just to kind of give it a little space to 330. Now, what am I saying 330? Because the 328. And 310, I'm saying because I want to kind of get it there. Right? Let's just say if I narrowed down, if I took this one off, and I said, take this one off,
wow.
look at the range here, 294, 3, right? And there's my range. So what I say, 330, now it's showing 332, 210, 294, whatever, I call it, you know. This is just me mentally visualizing, right? I still gotta go see the house. So if the house needs work, maybe I say, okay, maybe we should be closer to 300. House is great, good. I think we
New
can be
roof,
in.
new AC,
New
new
roof,
kitchen.
new kitchen, great. What price did you have in mind?
340.
You had 340. How did you come up with the 340?
The owner had would like 340.
You were like 340. So, I know, I'm role playing. You're the owner.
Okay.
Yeah. So how'd you come up with 340?
I renovated. I had to redo the whole
Okay.
plumbing, the AC, the roof.
Yeah, beautiful. Amazing. Yeah, new roof and everything. So when I look at this one that sold at 328, and we'll look at it, it doesn't have a new roof and it doesn't have a new AC. So maybe my seller's right at 340. I agree with you because look, the highest sell is 328. Let's try for the 340, being that you have a new roof and new AC. I'm okay with that. So $10,000. It's $10,000 out of my range. Maybe my seller's right.
And it has a big backyard.
Maybe I can get the 350.
Yeah.
Right? Good. So let's do that. Great. So ready to get to work? Let's get this property, get you over to Jacksonville. Excited?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm not gonna sit there and argue with them and say, no, it has to be 330. $10,000. But she told me 380, now I'm like, okay, how we good? Or how we good? Okay, so this is a great example. This is my range. I want to be within that range as close as possible. I'm okay with a little bit, remember I said 10%. I said 7% is actually my limit. Rule of thumb, some people say 10%. I said 7%. So what is $10,000? 2%? 2.5%?
So it's within range,
I'm okay with that.
reasonable.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If I put it at 340, the fire, there may be a fire, if it's not worth 340, in reality, this fire is into the market, maybe I can get off by that 330. Or 340, if it doesn't, we don't get the showings we want, I can have a conversation with Victoria and say, Victoria, at 340, we're not getting the showings. I think we should maybe drop it $10,000. At least I feel like I can work this. Not everything will be on the first shot. Not everything's a home run, right? Okay, so there's my comparables. I will print this out, take this with me, so forth. Good, it supports. Victoria, you understand that this highest closed sale was 328. I think I could, so you want me to beat that up? We'll do our best to do so, right? Okay.
So, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why did you take out the other two, the 265?
Why? Because my guess is, and without looking at them, is that they're,
You think they're foreclosures or?
they could be, yeah. And if I'm going to a house that obviously you already know it's updated, why would I, that's gonna kill my deal. Why would I show them something at 280? I told you, I need 3 comparables to support why I'm gonna go to market with this price. That's it. If I bring a 280, like why am I waste my breath on that conversation? Make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
I'm coming up with a game plan. It's mindset, guys. It's completely mindset, and I'm trying to get myself and Victoria on the same mindset, the same plan to get this property sold. I'm not trying to prove me right and prove them wrong. That's where a lot of people mess up, especially newer agents, even experienced agents. No, they're crazy. I just sold a house, 1,500 square feet and change. They redid the house. Next to nothing backyard, had a courtyard. They redid the house, put in 5 windows, they did laminate floors. They redid the house. But it's still 1,500 square foot house with a 2-car garage. It was $431,000. Highest price in the world. When I first started the sellers, they were like, we really need like 430, 435. And they needed to sell it quickly because they put a lot of money into the house. And someone was borrowing money, right? And I said, okay. They wanted to go in the market at 435. Okay. 435. The picture. Like and my suggestion was 425 to go to market. And my thing is this, I'm not telling you it's going to sell for that. But I think we should go to market 420, 425. Why? I want to get traffic in the door. That 420, 425 is going to help me to get you to the 430, 435. Make sense? Sometimes customers understand it, sometimes they don't. Right before going to market, keep. We'll revisit this one more time. I know we had this conversation. Going to market tomorrow. I still feel we should go to market 420, 425. Says, okay, let's do the 425. Okay, let's market 425, which goes up 430. Somebody came in, wanted the house. Here's the thing, right? He says, somebody told me maybe we should have gone for something like that. You want me to tell you the reality of it? I got to a point where he said, here's the reality. Reason why I like to go, I think a smart move is going 425 because it puts attention on traffic. We've had traffic. Not a tremendous amount. I'll be honest. We've had traffic. And we only have one option. 9 out of 10 of the other, people that came to the house thought the bedrooms were too small. This house is not for everybody. This yard is small. No, you're right. The yard is small. It's like almost like a accordion. It's very, for single family home to have it. So people are coming in and they have larger, tall teenagers, rooms are too small. There's just a couple, no kids. And they work from home, so they're using that small space as an office. But this is your buyer. This doesn't work for somebody with teenage kids. Or kids that are grown. It doesn't. That really hurts you, right? Because the one room is really small. That's pretty small. Right? So these are, so going back to the pricing, and understanding that, 430. Super happy.
You're giving me ideas. baby.
Super happy, right? Like super happy, right? Getting them to understand that. So then there's different approaches. And I remember I said, man, when we did the 430, I was nervous going into this list, like going to market. It's high. I don't want to be high. It's high. When he agreed to, we're at 435. He agreed to the 425. Yes. Okay, good. Believe it or not, that $10,000 is going to allow me to, I believe, it's going to allow me to execute what I want to do. I want to get in the 430, but I need a buyer to come in, see another buyer, and want to beat them out. And be the right buyer because they don't have kids, they don't, the bachelor was a nice size. But it's a 3-bedroom and one of the bedrooms was really small. And it was an awkward shape too, like one of the walls. So it's like, you really can't, you can't put a big bed. We're gonna use it for an office. It worked for them. Right? So making them understand that. So, okay, so going to the MLS and got like 10 more minutes. So I'll just wrap it up here. This is the other search I do, and I just bring two just so I can support it and support what I'm looking at. I'm looking at active only because I want to know my competition. Maybe I'm going to look at active with contract. One more came up. You're looking here on the bottom, you're going to see the matches, right? There's 8 matches, closed sale, and maybe pending. It brings me to 10. Okay, now here, this I can adjust. So this is at quarter mile. I'm okay with that. I have enough to look at right now. I don't need more. I really don't need more. If you're looking in an area like, let's say, the Redlands, where properties have more yard, space between them, you may need to extend that to a mile, 2 miles. And an appraiser will do the same thing as well. Because if you went to the Redlands and you said within a mile, you probably may not find any comps at all.
Yeah.
You may need to go 2-3 miles, maybe even 5 miles, right? But you're talking about a piece of land that's 10 acres, right? Or 5 acres, stuff like that. That changes. Going back to the condos, you may want to do just that building. Okay. In this case, I start very close and tight. If I need to expand out, I will. If I'm not finding what I'm looking for. Looks like I'm finding what I'm looking for. Awesome. Perfect. Make sense? I don't want to overthink it. If I expand too much, it may be a comparable when it goes to the appraiser. That this house is a mile away. Why would I use this? Like if I come and bring a comparable 400,000 because it's a mile away, and everything around it showing 318, 330, no, there's comparables. Like it's just not going to work, right? Okay, so very simple. I selected active with contract, close, pending, expired. Expired right now in this market, I don't use it, but expired you may use maybe in a buyer's market or seller or say more days on market. Because when a seller's saying 340, you're going to show them, look, this house was on the market for 340 and it didn't sell in 6 months. It expired, right? Really not. I'm not using it right now.
You have enough
Markets
to compare.
change, right? I may select single family home, which it brought it down to 9. Okay. And then I'm going to hit my results. Very simple. There's other options you may do, right? You may say 3 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms plus. And again, you can learn this in Matrix 101 and 202 and so forth. You may want to say, oh, I'm looking with 2 baths. Right now, I'm keeping it open. I have 9 results. With me? And I'm going slow so you guys see why I'm not putting in more fields. Some people may put more fields, but I don't want to weed out too much. Yet, right? if I have a lot more options, like a condo, like if I'm doing a condo building, like let's say in Brickell, I may want to say, oh, I gotta look at all the 3 bedrooms. Because it goes back to my other scenario, right? Okay. You can look at the map if you chose to. They're all within the area, so my subject property is here, so I know, okay, this one is 390, what's it 390, is that active? Green is active, 420, so this is my competition. Okay, results, again, just showing you, okay? So, stand back, I have 3 actives, which is the A, so on the status, so I'm looking at this column right here, and I'm looking at these columns right here, price per square foot, we talked about that a little bit, right? Location, they're all pretty much in the same subdivision, which is good. So I have 3 actives, yes? So my competition right now is what?
The 3 active.
Which is 479, 404, and 390. Right?
Right.
So when my customer is telling me that she wants to be at 360, 340,
340.
yeah, I'm gonna go in as the lowest price in the area. Good sign. Yeah. That's a win. Okay. Maybe we could get her 350, maybe we get her higher, but okay. I don't want to be the highest in the area. Right? Being the lowest is good. Being in the middle is okay. So active contract, so there's one there, 349, active with contract, AC, closed sales. I have 3 closed sales. I don't know what that 65,000 is. But I have a 315 and a 340. Pending sale, I have a 400 and a 310. So let's look at them.
It's a short sale. That's 60.
That's 65? Okay. So let's look at them. So when I go to do, bring in my contract this, I'll bring the IMAP that I showed you. Right? Okay. Now I'm supporting it. Now I'm looking, actually physically looking at the listings, looking at these properties and seeing what they are. This is a 4.2, completely updated, 1,500 square feet. I probably don't want to bring this because it's the highest and, you know, it's with a garage. Our property doesn't have a garage. I probably don't want to bring this. 406. Updated, like farmhouse style, wood floors, semi-updated 406. But this is a 4.2, 2,000 square feet. 3.2, 1,200 square feet. This is a comp. Excuse me, it's not a comp because it's not a closed sale, but this is my competition. Okay, so when I go visit my house, hey, this is our competition. Very nice driveway. Nice fence. They obviously put some money into it, right? That 390.
It's cute.
That's good, yeah. I like that driveway, right? Updated. Yeah, nice updated. Kitchens are, yeah, kitchens are okay, right? You know, not high-end updates. It's just, you know, modest. It's still very nice, right? Okay, good. All right. So now I know what I'm looking at, right? Who my competition is. Days on market, 6 days. So someone asked, what's days on market? 6 days.
Okay, so DOR.
DOM, days on market. Great. So that's my competition. I would like to be, remember my property is a 3-1, which is a challenge.
So there's-
I thought you said 3-1. They put an
No,
extra
it's
bath?
listed as a 2-1 and she said that they added, right?
They added a bathroom too,
Yeah, but a very small one.
Okay,
In the
okay.
master.
which is probably the same as this. Most of these houses are the same, so 1956, probably similar, right? This is on a corner lot. Okay, good, my competition. This one active with contract, 350. Somewhat updated, 4.2. Fine. Yeah.
4-2.
Yeah, but has an extra bedroom. Extra bedroom will give me about $7,000. It took 55 days to sell this. So 55 days to sell it. My guess is that their contract is actually probably less than this
Since it's been in the market. for-
because it's probably been on the market. I could take that. Right? I could take that with me because that could be a case. Like if my seller says 350, here's one 350. It has 4 bedrooms and it took 55 days for it to get in a contract. I don't know what that contract amount is, but I'm pretty sure if it's been on the market 55 days, it's less than this 350, Mr. Customer. If I want, so I may want to take that, okay? Closed sale, 1,200 square feet, 328, which is probably on my IMAP. Nice, nicely done. Like those floors.
Sold for 320.
I love those colors.
Nope.
Tony.
Okay, so that's a comparable, right? 328.
It stayed in the market for 7 days.
And it was on the market 7 days. Yep,
That's pretty good.
that's good.
But we're not using it though, right?
Yeah, we are.
We are.
Yeah.
Sure.
When did it sell?
That one's so closing date just February, right? All right, February. So that tells me, right? And this is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, right? Which is fine. Some people may not want 4-bedroom. 328. Going back to my range. My range is now changed. From 330, now it's becoming tighter, right? Now my range is becoming 330. Let's call it 328 and 350. Ish. Right? Range. So when customer says 340, I'm good. I'm okay with that. I think they're right.
It's reasonable.
I think that's reasonable. I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna use that one. That was the one that was super low. Yeah. And even, okay, let's go to the one that's super low, right? There's not even a picture on it.
Days on the market. says
4
4.
days. Yeah, so they put, and it's so, oh, and it's sold at 315. And they didn't put no picture, so it probably needed a whole lot of work, right? Yeah, it probably needed a whole lot of work, right? Okay. Pending, this one's pending for 400. This is larger. I may not want to take that because let's see, pending, how many days on the market? 14 days. I could take it or not take it. Okay. Now, here on the bottom, I'm gonna move this over. Nobody's on Zoom.